Hello, everybody. Welcome to Strong Style. Maybe not the team that you were expecting so far, but I am Aaron Turner, your man on the keys for these proceedings, and I'm joined by the outlaw John Roca for a little bit. What's going on, man? How you feeling? Give the people an update.
Yeah, slowly but surely getting back into shape, into fighting shape. This thing is no joke, ladies and gentlemen. This COVID followed by bronchitis was a 1-2 punch, and I'm just barely. I thank God I got up before the 10 count, and I'm now just kind of working my way back into the match, so to speak. So I'm still a little bit, struggling, but taking it day by day. But excited to be back to talk a little bit. I'm not going to stay on for the full show because my breath ability will not allow me to do that. And certainly last week when I tried to come back too quick off the COVID and the Paxlovid, I did the 3-hour watch along on my Twitch. And I think that's what ended up sparking my bronchitis. So I don't want to push the limits and go through that hell again. So I'm here just to hang out for a little bit and then roll on. And Chris is going to be joining us very, very soon. Chris is in New York. He flew in. He's running over to his hotel room. He's going to log in and he's going to join us as well. So we're going to talk about all that stuff here, all the stuff we're going to talk about here with Chris and Aaron. Aaron, what are we going to cover on the show, my man?
I think you guys know. I don't have to tell you. You saw the thumbnail. It's truly an incredible week in the world of wrestling. Yeah. I went to sleep before the show ended, and I woke up to a shitstorm. Yeah. So we're going to talk a lot about that. We're going to show video clips of what happened. We're going to kind of break it down piece by piece. We're
Definitely. Really. And can I say real quick, thanks to everybody who sent such positive words and comments, and everybody who's watching right now, because it's my first thing I've been doing since last Saturday. So thank you all so much for the positive words. You know, Justin, Stormy, I see Draws in here. Thank you so much. Haskell, what's up, brother, man? So thank you all so much for all the kind words and the words you're sending in now. It wasn't an easy thing. So I'm happy to be somewhat feeling close to normal and hanging out with you, Aaron, and talking something I really love, which is pro wrestling, man. So let's get into it. And real quick, I know Aaron's running things, but don't forget about the Streamlabs and the Super Chats. Those are available. Would love any support you all can send in as we talk about all these topics here. Aaron's going to have everything. He's running everything, but I just want to remind people, send in your support, send in your love as we talk about the stuff going on and the big controversy going on in the world of pro wrestling for sure, Aaron. So yeah, we got so much to discuss.
Listen, man, I know Chris is not here yet, but I just want to talk. We got to talk about the biggest thing of the week, and I just don't think that anybody could do it justice but me to talk about it first. So the biggest news of the week. I know everybody's excited. Let's hit it. Hit the music. All right, here's the music. Let's go. Let's go. Mandy 2 belts.
You know what?
Mandy 2 belts.
If anything risked my recovery was knowing that Mandy is a double champion.
Congratulations to Mandy Rose for winning not only the WWE NXT Women's Championship, but also the NXT UK Women's Championship to unify both titles. Congratulations to Mandy. So much so, John, I don't know if you know this. This may be breaking news. I got a text from her the other day. So,
did you really?
And I will
got a text from Mandy Rose.
Yeah, we're homies. And I'll even show it to you here, even though Roka will get mad at me because it doesn't fill up the whole screen.
Are there any naked pictures of you or anything like that?
There's no nudes. Come on.
Okay, all right.
We keep it cordial here. But this is she's Mandy 2 belts in my phone. So this is Mandy and I going back and forth. Never had a doubt, long may she reign. She's a thanks for the goals. So there you go. Me and Mandy talking back and forth. So
Aaron, for the love of God, just hit the overlay after you're done with the.
Sorry, I keep forgetting. I'm doing it, guys. I'm sorry.
Well, congratulations. That's awesome that Mandy responded back to your request.
And that's the show. Thank you for waiting an extra hour. Goodbye, everybody.
Why couldn't you get her on the show if you're such good friends with her? Get her on the show.
Listen, there's contract issues. I can't just call up Roman Reigns and say, Joe, I need you on the show. I can't. We can't do that. There's people you got to go through. There's lists you got to be on. You can't just I don't appreciate you assuming that my Mandy text is not genuine, because it is.
Well, I didn't see your name next to, like, there's no way to verify that this is a genuine text exchange.
Sure.
You gonna
yeah,
show me the
Deborah,
phone?
no, I'm not going to show you her phone number. I'm going to keep that private. But
you have her
keep
phone
that.
number.
I'm going to keep that. Well, of course, if she's texting me, we're going to keep that private. But I mean, JMB with the super chat. Let's just get right to it. We're not going to talk about the big stories till Chris gets here. Sorry. We're not going to jump the gun. So so glad to hear you back, Roka Man. Glad to see you back. Oh no, have we lost Chris? Great to see her too, of course. Thank you for that. No, Chris just got into his hotel room.
Yeah.
He's getting set up. These things happen. It's New York City, for God's sakes. So yeah, he's going to be on the show. We weren't going to do this without, at least two of us. You don't want to hear me blabbing about it because you'll just get as mad as I am. Chris Taylor says, what a chaotic year in pro wrestling. I mean, with Vince gone, Triple H taking over, a lot of
This is a seminal year in wrestling for sure. I mean, so many changes. And guys, I'm not going to get too emotional, so just letting you know, I'm keeping it to this level so I don't send myself back down the hole. But yeah, I mean, what an incredible year. Chaotic in both a good way and a crazy way and a bad way, for sure. It's the good, the bad, and the ugly of professional wrestling this year, for sure. And normally every year you've got good, bad, and ugly in the world of pro wrestling. But this year, I mean, above a lot of years, so many changes. Whoever thought, I mean, we just had the Queen die, which a lot of people thought was, something that was never going to happen or was a little late in the happening because nobody expected her to live this long. Nobody expected Vince to retire until he died. Nobody expected that at all. And so to see him, I mean, step down was shocking enough. To have Triple H seamlessly jump into the leadership role with Stephanie, with Nick Khan there, doing incredible work, turning things around, getting people back excited. You texted me about how Gunther had been offered the opportunity to possibly become Walter again and turned it down because he said Walter was another person. I am Gunther now. This is what I'm embracing. This is what I'm. So you see that Triple H saw the mistakes. And, if you watch that Ariel Helwani interview with him, Triple H said, Vince said to me, this is your show. You're going to make some changes. You may not people may not be happy with them, but it's your show. And I may not even like the changes you make, but you're in charge. And so in essence, Vince didn't come to him and was like, I'm going to be watching you. You better not fuck this up. He said, you're the man now. Make the decisions you want to make that you think is best for the show, best for business, best for the overall brand. And I may not even like the decisions you make, but I respect the fact if you're the one making them and you take responsibility for the decisions that you're making. So in a way, it's been a very seamless transition. And I know I'm liking it to the Queen a little bit. Like Charles already signed the thing. They're about to fucking coronate him. So that is seamless. It's smooth here. And there were all these articles when Vince was stepping down about like, oh, is WWE going to lose the stock price? Are people not going to watch anymore? Quite the opposite. It feels like people are reinvigorated by the product. Clash of the Castle, which I think you guys are going to talk about a little bit later. What a fantastic pay-per-view. Was it worth me getting bronchitis for? I don't know. We could have an argument or debate, but it was an incredible pay-per-view for sure. And so you're seeing the fruits of labor of Triple H, and people are loving it. And so that's a great thing. And on the other side, you're seeing what looked to be a promising contender start to fall apart. And we've seen this in sports, Aaron, where you see that up-and-coming team that is slowly putting the pieces together, poking the bear of the champs, and they fall apart. This feels to me like if AEW doesn't right the ship, we're looking at the butt fumble, Mark Sanchez butt fumble AEW, and that is not a good thing. So to me, so much has happened over the last few months alone that is a microcosm of how this entire year has gone.
I reinvigorate, I think is the word, because I feel reinvigorated as a fan. Like I want to go to shows again. I want to support the product again. I want to. I mean, not that I didn't, obviously, because I talk about it every week, but it just feels different. Like I feel like maybe like Smackdown last night. I hadn't watched Smackdown live in a little bit, and I did last night because I wanted to see the fallout, and I thought it was an okay show. Of course, I watched AEW's programming this week. A lot going on there.
Yeah.
but it just seems like just when you think the WWE is like the Titanic is sinking, the sail came back up. And I don't know if this is the right way to say this, but basically all what John Rocco was saying is that he's quitting the show. He's getting fired, and I'm the Triple H that's now taking over Strong Style.
I don't know how we got to that, but okay.
starting with my name change, I will now be known as I don't know, something else. But
see, if you're going to take over, you got to have all the answers, son. Come on.
And well, just when you think you have the answers, I change the questions. That is a Roddy Piper quote. Clarissa says, didn't I say we didn't want to hear it, Aaron? She did tell me that on Twitter that we didn't want to hear it. And I said, you're going to hear it. So Mandy Rose, Mandy 2 times. I don't know if you guys saw it, but we can just throw it. Yeah, there we go again. We just throw it up there real quick. 2 belts.
Do you have the one with her lying on the thing?
I don't know if I could show that on
why
here,
not?
but
you're allowed to show that one.
Hold on. Okay. All right. Give me a second.
Well,
you know I've got it. Don't worry.
You're missing the big money super chats. If you're going to hold things, if you're going to run things, you got to know the big money super chats are the first ones you bring up here. Brian Brawler saying sometimes being delusional is a great thing, right, Aaron? Roca, aren't you supposed to be in bed right now, sir? Yeah, I was in bed. I've been sleeping through the night for the last 3 nights, so positives in terms of my energy and coming back. So 7 hours a night is great. But I thought I'd come on, for a little bit, just have some fun. I am able to talk. I'm able to hang out. I just can't get too emotional. But yeah, Aaron, you are delusional. And it's great to see you.
Why am I delusional?
Delusional. So yeah.
Why am I delusional? Because of facts. Like Mandy went into the match. I thought the finish was good.
You did.
At least that. I really did think that Blair.
No, her move. Oh, sorry. Her move was good. Yes, her move was good. Just the decision to have her beat someone like Blair Davenport, who's really up and coming and people want to see more of, I thought was really shocking. I knew sorry, I can't remember her name.
Mako Satomura.
Yeah, I knew Satomura wasn't going to win, but I was really surprised that they kind of stunted a little bit of the Davenport thing. So I wonder what's this leading to. And also, let's be honest, you got 2 white blonde champions. That's kind of, I don't like that. To be honest with you, Liv and Mandy, I don't like it. 2 white blonde champions, female, hot, both marginal wrestlers compared to better female wrestlers that are out there to have the belts. So I think it's a dangerous road to be walking myself personally, because what segment of the wrestling public are you really satisfying with these decisions? And what are you saying to other female wrestlers who want to become champions in your company? So just throwing it. I know we got Raquel and Aaliyah as the tag team champions. I get that's not blonde and neither one.
Smiley Raquel.
Yeah, but yes, actually Smiley Raquel, that kind of thing. So I just, to me, is a little interesting, but I trust the Triple H has a larger plan going down the road. And coming after SmackDown, now we've got Ronda versus Liv for a 3rd time.
Sure do.
And if she beats her again, you're really damaging the Ronda Rousey brand in order to elevate the Liv Morgan brand. And that makes no sense for me personally. So.
Well, I mean, when you're throwing up photos like this.
Yeah. Hello. I get it. Mandy certainly knows how to market. God damn it, Aaron. Mandy knows how to
get texted to me first, everybody. Just throwing it out there.
She did great. Mandy knows how to market herself, and that's never been an issue. That's why, belt or not, she'll be successful with the social media campaign and the following. It's just that she's a good wrestler, marginal good wrestler. She's not a great female wrestler. She's not in the category with Bayley or Charlotte or Sasha or Becky or some of your other greater female wrestlers that are out there. She's not in that category. So that's an issue to me personally. It devalues the belt a little bit. So, but I get why you're doing it. It's NXT, but what's it leading to? Who is she going to give the belt to? That's what I wonder.
I think she's going to give it to another white blonde-haired lady named Nikita Lyons. So
yeah.
I think that's where we're.
Sorry, guys.
I think that's where we're going with it. Let's see. Luis Enrique de la Pena says, "If Roca's the outlaw, Aaron is the in-law. Gets better soon, John." We're not related, but okay.
That's a good point. I'm not married to his sister.
Justin Toner agrees. He says, "I think Nikita's dethroning Mandy."
Yeah, so it's you're right. Another white blonde. So I mean, this is a pattern, and we've seen. in Dark Side of the Ring and other things where they say, like, oh, don't hit the face. So I get what Triple H is doing, but by the same token, and remember, Stephanie caught him messing around with Trish Stratus, so he certainly has a thing for white blondes, if you remember that storyline, which was great. So where are we going with that down the road? I wonder for sure. But there's a lot of great female talent, both in NXT and in the main WWE roster, that is exciting for the product as well. So I hope we're going to see more and more of them getting involved in this as it goes forward. Because, I mean, it may just be basic business, Aaron. Triple H knows, and the powers that be know, that these two blonde ladies get views, and people like to watch them, whether they're attracted to them or attracted to their wrestling or whatever. That's how you get the eyes on the product, while you're also introducing these or giving more time to these other female wrestlers who are fantastically skilled, who may not be quite the attractive level in their minds of Liv or even Alexa or Mandy, but they're going to get their opportunities to shine. So it may just be, the rising tide lifting all the boats, so to speak. So we shall see.
You know what I just had a thought of? I was thinking about, like, hey, wait a second. Like, what are the other female champions in wrestling? Like, what do they
yeah, go ahead.
Like, what do they look like?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, and I'm doing my research.
Tushka says it's getting close to winter. That's a white season anyways, right? I don't know.
Snow bunny season.
Targaryen season. We're saying Targaryens here who are champions. Anyway, go ahead. Yes.
It's someone asked Amelia Clark if she was actually British, which I thought was pretty funny.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Really great stuff from there. So I'm gonna put up a couple other things of other champions in other companies. Sure. So I mean, this is the NWA Women's World Champion. So
okay. Interesting.
Blonde white lady.
Yes.
This is the new AEW Women's Champion. Blonde white lady. So I feel like there's a thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely a
Who's
thing.
The Glow champion or the WoW champion?
Who fucking cares? But
don't say that.
The current Impact Women's Champion is Jordynne Grace. She's not blonde.
Not a blonde.
But the women's tag team champions aren't blonde either. So
who's
that?
Yeah.
That's Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green. But there's that. And yes, Gramash is correct. Bianca and Jade are champs right now. Yes.
Yeah, but you don't see them being promoted the way Toni Storm is promoted.
No.
You don't see Bianca and Jade being promoted anywhere near in the same way that Toni Storm is, or Liv, or Mandy, or any of these other female champions. So it's you get it. Listen, we're not saying because
we're not trying to turn it into a race thing. It's just we're just pointing out what's happening.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, it's not it's more a matter of you're seeing patterns here, and
it's an observation.
I talk about stuff to highlight the patterns. You go, okay, what does this mean? Where is it going to go? But yeah, that's it. And Bianca goes to red carpets and on commercials. Yeah, absolutely. So Bianca just signed with, I think, CAA. So she's very much already glimpsing a world beyond wrestling. So that's a good thing. Yeah. I agree.
All right. Charles Walker says we're reaching. I think we need to move on. Okay. Yeah. It's just a thing.
How is it reaching to show legitimate patterns?
I don't know. It's just an observation.
Yes. Justin Toner says, "Hi guys, glad you're feeling better, John. Clash of the Castle was a great show. Sheamus last Gunther delivered good. So did Seth Riddle and Drew versus Roman. Still wish Drew had won. All Out was good, but too long. Keith Swerve versus the Acclaimed was amazing."
Ladies and gentlemen, I have good news.
All right.
Sorry. Let me respond to that real quick. I will respond to it in a minute. As we bring on the man himself, we're adding to the stream, the Dark Attack. Chris Burns in the building. What's up, dude?
What's up,
Chris? Bear with me. I'm literally on my phone's hotspot because this hotel seems like it needs internet in order to connect to the internet. And I don't understand how that works, but guess what? We're going to make it happen.
Woo! Nice, dude. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
Bergeronte says, Margaranta says Sol Ruka is another tall blonde making her NXT debut next week.
Yeah.
I saw her at the NXT taping I went to. Not good. So,
okay.
Just throwing that out there. Could have been a bad match.
We're going to move on from this real quick, Chris, but we were talking about how it seems really interesting that right now almost all the main female champions on a majority of the promotions are female white blondes. With Liv retaining, with Mandy becoming the 2-belt champion, with Toni Storm as the interim champion, and then mentioning the two other ones that Aaron brought up here. That we're seeing them. We're wondering if this is a pattern here that's developing. Is this going to be going into like what are we saying? What is the message that's being sent? So we're just kicking that around, looking at it because we're seeing so many great talent going on in the world of professional wrestling for women's side of things. Like who is going to come and take these belts off these ladies? And is this an intentional thing?
The more things change, the more they stay the same in pro wrestling, unfortunately. No, I definitely noticed that too. It's just, it's just one of those things, man. There's still an archetype in the minds of a lot of not just bookers, but fans as well. What like a pro wrestler looks like. And I think that sometimes that's kind of hard to escape for a lot of these people. But in fairness, if you go kayfabe wise, and I think storyline wise in the major companies right now, their hands are a little tied on who can hold the belts. You know what I mean? So and it's a symptom of just more people, POCs needing to be in the mix and more diversity needing to happen in general. You know what I mean? Like Sasha and Naomi gone, all of a sudden the amount of diversity in the women's division in WWE is almost non-existent. You know what I mean?
Good point.
Except for a few, here and there. And like Raquel Gonzalez, she's in the tag team division at the moment. And then, I can't even really think off the top of my head. Like Xia Li, like they're involved in the tag team stuff, et cetera, et cetera. So it's an overall problem as opposed to, I think, a right now problem.
Yeah, fair point. Fair point. Okay. All right, let's get in this. Aaron, take it. Aaron's hosting the show. Don't let me stick. Go ahead, Aaron.
Yeah, John, this is my show now. You're done. So, Chris, I don't know if you heard, or I don't know if you guys heard, but some shit went down over the weekend. What I'm going to do first, because I know everybody wants to talk about it. I want to talk about it. This is why we push, because we all want to talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to run down All Out's recap. Okay. We're going to do that first. Kind of give an overall thought. We don't need to go. Yeah, you were there. We don't need to go match by match, but just overall thoughts. Then we're going to get to the press scrum. We're going to show video, and we're going to take it like piece by piece. So let's start at the top. We had Sammy Guevara and Ty Mello, I guess now, defeating Ruby Soho and Ortiz. We had Hook submitting Angelo Parker to retain his FTW title. Pac defeated Kip Sabian to retain the All-Atlantic Championship. Eddie Kingston defeated Tomohiro Ishii. And then we went to the main card where the Joker won the Casino ladder match with some help from Stokely Hathaway and some other folks. We did not find out who the Joker was until later, but everybody knew. The Elite defeated Hangman and the Dark Order to win the Trios Championships. More on that later. Jade Cargill defeated Athena to retain her TNT Championship. TBS Championship. Wardlow and FTR defeated the Motor City Machine Guns and Jay Lethal. Powerhouse Hobbs was victorious over Ricky Starks. Swerve and Our Glory defeated the Acclaimed to retain their AEW Tag Team Championships. Toni Storm became the new AEW Women's Champion after defeating Britt Baker, Hikaru Shida, and Jamie Hayter in a fatal four-way. Christian defeated Jungle Boy with some help from Luchasaurus. Chris Jericho defeated Bryan Danielson, Kill Me Now. Darby, Sting, and Miro defeated the House of Black with Malachi Black apparently saying goodbye. CM Punk defeated Jon Moxley to become the AEW champion once again, then was confronted by the Joker from earlier, who revealed himself to be, it's MJF returning. So there's All Out. Give me your thoughts. And Justin Toner's got it right. Scissor me daddy ass, indeed. So what did you guys think of All Out as a whole?
Chris, go ahead, man. You were there.
Being in the building, man, it was a lot of energy and a lot of energy drained because that was a long good show. Goodness gracious. I mean, so many things happened that the discussion around me was, wow, that could have been cut for time. I just don't like, we didn't need a lot of these things to happen. I mean, honestly, it's a pay-per-view, not a premium live event. People actually pay money to watch these big AEW events that don't happen on TBS, TNT. Right. And it's just like, you just had to force Kingston and Ishii on there. I enjoyed the match, but what was the point? There was no stakes. There was no nothing. Same thing with Wardlow and FTR. Sorry to say, there was no stakes to that match. It was literally, you could tell it was like, oh shit, we don't have these guys on the pay-per-view. We should put them on the pay-per-view. But ultimately, those matches become more meaningful if you do it on a Dynamite or something like that. If it's not just shoehorned into this, what felt like 6 hours of being in a building. You know what I mean?
Right.
But overall, other than that, I thought the show was great. It was a lot of fun. Nothing to really speak of from the 0 hour, as it were. I was getting hot dogs. Like I said, the Kingston Ishii match was fun. It's like they watched the Gunther. Yes, I've accepted that he's Gunther now. Gunther Sheamus match, and was like, oh, hold our beer because we're going to show you what chopping each other is all about. So that was fun. I like the way that they sold it. The Joker thing failed miserably in the building
and at home.
I mean, we were just like, what? I mean, okay. First of all, if it's going to be that obvious, you got to do it better than that. Don't give me a bunch of these dudes that are not affiliated with MJF. It's like, okay, they're hired guns. They're not even a faction, as we saw the follow-up on Dynamite. It just, I don't know. It was a wet fart. It really was. I get it. I mean, the payoff later was great, and we all reacted great, but boy, oh boy, did not work for us at all. Jade Cargill, they need do they have a power plant or something at AEW? Is there
the Nightmare Factory with QT Marshall, right?
Is that even a thing anymore? Because COVID's
I think so. Well, Dustin Rhodes also has one too. Also has a school.
Dang, what are you trying to get at? What are you trying to say?
She needs some more time in the oven.
She's your champion. She's your champion. How can she need more time? She's your champion. What is going on?
She looks great. And I feel like that's what we all said. We were like, oh, the She-Hulk get up, that's really cool.
She looked great.
Bell rings, boy, it is rough business. It is rough business. She has not had great chemistry with a lot of people, and that is probably why she hasn't had that many matches recently. I'm like, 37-0. I'm like, dude, she's been champion for a really long time to only have wrestled 37 matches. You know what I'm saying? Interesting.
On 4 weekly shows.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So,
Chris, can I ask you something real quick? I don't mean to cut you off, but
No.
Because you were there. Was the building on railroad tracks, next to railroad tracks? Because I feel like when I was listening to the scrum, I was like, I thought they were going to get by train. Like, what was that about?
So there were a lot of sound issues. One stemming from, we were watching the controller guy. I was right, in the media section. So I'm watching the controller guy. Like every time there's a chop or something, he kept turning the ring mics up. Oh. And then it kept catching, but he kept doing it at the wrong time. I don't know who this dude was, but God bless him. I know it's hard to time this perfectly, but he would do that and it would catch all sort of ambient noise when he did it.
Okay.
So I think that's kind of what, he was picking up wrestlers talking and shit, and we were like, oh Lord, don't let him call a spot while it's loud. You know what I mean?
There's enough videos of that on YouTube. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So that kept happening. That might have been a cause. I don't know, but there were a lot of sound issues from inside the building for sure.
I had a question about that for sure.
Of course. The Elite versus the Dark Order. I mean, what were we expecting that the Dark Order had a chance to beat them? I mean, what are we talking about? This was the wrong match for the pay-per-view, just like we had talked about before. No reason FTR Young Bucks 3 shouldn't have happened here. That's the match everybody's been looking forward to. That's the one that makes the most sense in the world. I think this plays into everything that we're going to talk about with the media scrum later.
Yeah, let's get to it, man. All right, let's just power through these. Come on, let's get
Yeah. All the rest of this stuff, man, like I said, Christian Cage, Dynamite. Do it on Dynamite.
Yeah.
I wasn't mad at Chris Jericho winning. They don't seem to have a plan for Danielson, so whatever.
Or do they? Yeah. We'll get, it's certainly good.
Okay. I mean, if you guys got a theory, I'd love to hear it because Christ almighty. And then, House of Black, decent match. I guess Malachi's going to take some time off for mental health. And then, of course, the main event, which was, I mean.
No one's talking about that match.
No one's talking about anything from the show.
No one.
Damn thing.
Yeah. I mean, Tony Storm, that's great. But, I mean, Punk and Moxley, if that match had been a damn good classic banger of a match, even with the media scrum, people would have talked about it. What was it like in the building, Chris? Were people caught up in this match and were they celebrating by the end? Or was it more like we saw this coming and so there was kind of a muted celebration?
What was fun? I mean, it was interesting because there was a lot of support for Moxley. Moxley played the match completely heel, but at various times, people were going, let's go Moxley. Now, the CM Punk chants did drown it out eventually, and he had the strongest support of the evening. Yeah. But I was very surprised at how much support Moxley had. I mean, and kudos to him. I know he made Aaron a fan because he's been killing it the last few weeks as champion. He's really been he's made himself the ace of the company, as he said in his promo on Dynamite. But God, I don't even know if I should really bring this up. Well, does it look like he might be drinking again? He's looking a little puffy. No. I was like looking at him and videos of his return.
It could be the opposite. It could be that because he's not drinking, he's eating more. That happens with people when they come off cigarettes or whatever, or come off drugs, they start to eat more and they're not as strung out or whatever, and so they do that. So it may be that where that's the counter, like maybe he's like got an instinct, I want to drink, no, I'm going to grab something else, so it might be, or he's trying to get bigger for himself. I don't know, but it's a fair question.
The stress is not getting to him. That's what I'm hoping. Because
I'm not touching that one.
Stress. Oh yeah, possibly.
Because Lord have mercy, everyone I've talked to at AEW that I know, and I can't reveal any names, obviously, but I mean they are. Let me rest assured, all you conspiracy theorists out there who think this might be a work, who think this might be a plan. Absolutely not. It is scrum? Chaos back there.
Oh yeah,
the scrum is not a work. The fight is not a work. The reports of unrest backstage, all that, 100% real. Unless the whole company is in on this swerve, but we'll talk about it. Let's get to it.
Yeah, I could care less about the results of All Out. I want to get to the media scrum. Punk winning, we all saw that coming. Tony Storm winning, it was pretty much the odds-on favorite. There was no real big surprises. I knew Athena was not going to beat Jade. They want to turn her into the female Goldberg, so I was not surprised by that.
I will interject one thing. Good. The Acclaimed, push those guys to the moon.
Oh, they have arrived.
Fair enough.
One thing I missed, and they were. I'm telling you right now, they were the most over act in the building.
Wow.
We've hijacked the entire match. Wow. With the Scissor Me Daddy, blah, blah, blah. And Max Caster is going to be a star. He's making a John Cena 2002 gimmick work in 2022. That
good point. Yeah.
He's amazing.
And the thing with the Acclaimed is, like, I know people were disappointed that they didn't win, but I think that Tony Khan and AEW was like, well, let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see. If we put him in a big spot, let's see what happens. And I think they got their answer. Holy crap, we got to push the Acclaim. So And I love him. I've talked about it for a long time. I love the Acclaim.
It's true. Yeah.
My only concern about this was I just want to bring up one thing about All Out. This guy is All Elite. The Secrets of Magic guy is challenging CM Punk.
My friend Sean literally said that. That's hilarious.
Dude, that's the first thing that popped in my head. And everybody kept putting it up like that guy was All Elite. And I was like, oh my God, I know. It looks like that guy.
That's so funny.
It looks like that guy and the dude that's the villain in the Spider-Man video game on PS4. It looks the same.
Looks like he's the descendant of the guy from Game of Thrones who's the villain in this season.
Yes. Just real quick, Brian Brawler wants to know, why is it called a scrum?
Yeah.
I assume it's called a scrum because it's a rugby term, like a rugby scrum.
Yes.
And you just have a bunch of media people there just going ham. So Enrique, Luis, I see yours too. I'm going to get to yours in just a second, but we're going to get to it. So I'm going to share parts of it and I will pause it and go. So I'm excited. I'm really excited to talk about this. So give me just a minute to pull it up here. Here we go. Okay. So now I have to bounce back here. You can see it there. Whew. All right, let's go.
We're going to watch this? Okay.
And this is a fucking business. Why I'm a grown-ass adult man and I decide not to be friends with somebody is nobody else's fucking business.
He's talking about
My
Colt
friends,
Cabana here.
Colt Cabana. Scott
if
Colton.
I fall backwards, will catch me. Scott Colton, I felt never would have. My problem was I wanted to bring a guy with me to the top that did not want to see me at the top. Okay? You call it jealousy, you call it envy, whatever the fuck it is. My relationship with Scott Colton ended long before I paid all of his bills. I have every receipt. I have every invoice. I have every email. I have the email where he says, and I quote, I agree to go our separate ways. I will get my own lawyer and you do not have to pay anymore. That's an email that I have. The only reason the public did not see is because when I finally had to countersue him through discovery, we discovered he shared a bank account with his mother.
Okay, we're going to stop that right there for just a second. So this got brought up because Punk.
Hold on, Aaron. I need you to lay the groundwork for all of this.
Let me lay the
lay
groundwork
it down
for
for people who are not maybe watching AEW every second of every minute of every day. What happened here?
Okay, so if you're not in tune, I'll make this part brief and then I'll get more in detail. So Colt Cabana and CM Punk had a legal issue that pertained to the podcast the podcast that Punk did on Colt Cabana's podcast about I think his name was Chris Amon, who was the doctor for WWE at the time, and made some allegations about his care while CM Punk was in his care. So they got taken to court over that. And CM Punk and Colt Cabana had an issue with who's paying what and legal fees and stuff like that.
Because Colt didn't make as much money as CM Punk.
Exactly. Colt sued CM Punk. Punk countersued. They don't like each other. They're not friends anymore. Fine. So then later on, Colt Cabana's working in AEW. You know, he's part of the Dark Order or whatever.
Yeah.
CM Punk comes to AEW. Well, that's interesting. And there was word that that Colt Cabana's contract was running out with AEW and that it may not have been renewed. So allegedly, the Young Bucks went to Tony Khan and said, "Hey, we like Colt Cabana. Do something with him." So he got signed.
It was Nick Jackson specifically.
Nick Jackson specifically said, "Hey, let's do something with him." So they signed him to Ring of Honor. I don't think we've seen him come. I think he might have been on the last show. I'm not sure, but and then that came out that allegedly to the dirt sheets, we know the Young Bucks and Dave Meltzer are like this. We know that it got out that Punk was stopping Colt Cabana from working for AEW, which apparently is not true. And he took that head on and really just lit in to Colt Cabana right here and the media for basically blowing out of proportion. And it just pissed him off. And he had to say something.
By a question from somebody
from Nick Hausman of Wrestling Inc. He asked, he started to ask him about Colt. And then he was like, nope. Let me start, and then he started. So, so there's that. So, give me your thoughts on that initial explosion from CM Punk.
I have a lot of feelings on this because I get it. Like it. Yeah, I'm not gonna say this. One of the things you have to navigate when you become a certain level of known, right? And is like, do you punch down? Do you bring your personal shit out there into the public, and with another person who is also known to a degree? Do you speak out about it? And you can say, well, why is Punk speaking out about this? He's moved past Colt. Colt's irrelevant to him. But I think Punk spoke about this because this has been clearly bubbling inside of him for quite some time. And I think we finally hit the boiling point after an emotional match, after people, as Chris just told us, were cheering for Moxley as Moxley was the heel in that match. And I think also Punk getting disillusioned by the fact that he feels like, here I am doing all this work for this fucking company, and I'm selling out stadiums. I'm bringing in money. Tony Khan is sitting next to me saying how much money I'm making for the company. And the Young Bucks and the EVPs and Hangman Page bringing my personal shit out without discussing it with me first. Enough is enough. Fuck you. I'm going to set everything on fire. And I saw, I think it's Gramash or Zeno Hours saying, like, why would you throw it all away for a jobber like Colt Cabana? You don't fucking get it. You've never been in CM Punk's position. It's a whole nother animal. And you've got to figure out what to say and what to do. And I think in this moment, he is eviscerating the Cabana thing at the highest amount of exposure that he can. So, boom, this is the truth. Fuck all y'all for saying this nonsense and spreading these lies and these rumors. And he did say, and if you haven't done it, then I apologize. But if you did, fuck you. And also, I'm sorry, shit, I said I wasn't going to get emotional. Also,
it's hard not to.
I know. Also, the Colt Cabana stuff, there's clearly a lot of hurt feelings. Chris and Aaron, I think you guys are like, if you're still mad at somebody about situation, it's because there's still some level of like, I don't say affection, but certainly there's still some level of connection to that person. If even having their name brought up sparks this kind of a reaction from you, they're still hurt, I think, there, because I think Punk really feels like I was a friend of this guy and he fucked me over, and it hurt me because I thought we were really good friends and he fucked me. And it's symbolic of professional wrestling, how people fuck people over in professional wrestling all the time, friendships or not. And so I think there's a it's just, for whatever reason, it's a touching stone. Is that the word? Or whatever it is for him that sparks this reaction. So although I hated CM Punk do this, I understand why he was doing it, at least from his point of view. So that's my thoughts on it. Chris?
Ooh-wee. So you guys remember the movie Lean on Me?
Oh, a little Morgan Freeman action. Joe Brown. Hell yeah.
So there's a part where he is getting reprimanded and he goes, "You knew who I was, you knew what I would do." Okay. Yeah. This is CM Punk we're talking about. Like, it is, there's so many things. There's so many layers to this.
Yeah.
The first being, it's CM Punk. He is not quiet about how he feels, about his point of view, about what he thinks should happen, or if he feels messed with. This is a guy who got over by being handed a live microphone and being told, let us know how you feel. You know what I'm saying? And so that's been his thing ever since. And you think that wasn't going to happen at some point in AEW? Of course it was. It was just a matter of time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and he started to when he got his receipt or whatnot on Adam Page on Dynamite. But he said it then. If there's going to be apologies, it needs to be as big as the disrespect or as loud as the disrespect. And clearly this man felt utterly disrespected in a way that any apologies or any clear-ups or anything like that hadn't been loud enough to fix.
Right.
So that's,
or it hadn't even happened. Possibly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
here's the other element.
Yeah, go ahead.
As much as I'm a fan, say what?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
as much as I'm a fan of the Bucks and Kenny and the Elite, listen, they have a reputation too. That if you kind of don't agree with their philosophy, with their way of doing business, then they can be pricks too. You know what I mean? Definitely. Like, I liken it to a lot of like alt comedy, you know, where it's like, you know, I generally work in like mainstream comedy, club comedy, that kind of thing. Right. But then there's these areas that popped up that are like, oh, we're the inclusive group. You know, we're giving everybody a chance because we don't, you know, the clubs didn't give us a chance, blah, blah. But then they create their own sort of exclusive, non-inclusionary segment, you know, in the business. And I think that kind of happened here a little bit, where it's like, oh, you know, we're this, you know, we're the underdogs, right? We're the good guys. We're the ones that are changing the business for the better. And look, we got everybody. Oh, wait, you don't agree with us? Oh, no. We're going to do everything we can to bury you. You know what I mean? FTR.
Cody Rhodes.
And so I think there's that element. Absolutely. I mean, come on now. He started the company with these guys. He was the centerpiece of this whole thing.
They railroaded him out. They railroaded him out.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the third element, Tony Khan. Bro, you got to get control, brother.
How can he sit there next to Punk? Vince would have punched somebody to stop him. He would have knocked Hogan out if Hogan had tried this nonsense while he was sitting next to him. Yes.
Listen, I mean, first of all, Vince wouldn't have been present on camera.
Good point.
Definitely not.
He would have been in the room probably, but because I mean, they're taking this whole structure from New Japan anyway.
Right.
And you don't see like, you know, Gato and like the other guys, they're not like sitting there, you know what I mean? Like right next to the person as they're cutting their promos. That's crazy. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you're right. Vince would have, that's it. You know, he'd have gave the high sign. Mics would have been cut. All that would have got shut down with the quickness.
Yeah.
Because you look like you're co-signing everything the man is saying. It looks like you're on board. It looks like you guys had talked about it before, or you just look plain impotent, where you're not stepping in and being like, hey, like, I get that you feel a certain way, but these are executives in this company, and we can't. This sort of unrest can't be aired out publicly. That's crazy.
Yeah, no insane. Comment would have been great.
Yeah.
Well, I want to move, absolutely. Chris. I don't mean to cut you off again, but I want to move to this Hangman clip. I'm going to show this one.
Oh, no, wait. What are your thoughts on him talking about? I mean, he hasn't talked about Cabana in years. This is his first public comments about this situation. Someone in here is saying that he just started talking about it. No, he was prompted in the conversation to talk about it to a degree, wasn't he? Wasn't the question?
He kind of just brought it up on his own, and then Nick Hausman kind of ramped because Nick Hausman is from Chicago. He knows Colt Cabana personally. He knows Punk personally, so that's why he knows Nick.
I see. So it kind of sparked in Punk seeing him. Okay, fair enough.
My thoughts on him and Colt Cabana. I don't give a shit. I don't care about any of that. Okay. I just thought it was funny. I thought it was funny to watch. I'm not the biggest Colt Cabana fan in the world. As a matter of fact, I don't like anything that he does. I don't think that he's funny. I don't think that he's a great wrestler. Yeah. I don't care. I agree with you.
Yeah. So he's a mid-carder at best.
Yeah, I don't.
At best.
I like people that set the record straight on things. Like, let's just clear the air. I don't fucking like this guy. All right, that's good enough.
Yeah.
But I do want to get to this clip about Hangman. This isn't going to be from Twitter. This is going to be from Denise Salcido from YouTube. So all credit to her on that. I just want to show this different angle of Tony Khan and CM Punk talking. This is what he talks about Hangman Page.
Fuck you. If you're not, I apologize. But what did I ever do in this world to deserve an empty-headed fucking dumb fuck like Hangman Adam Page to go out on national television and fucking go into business for himself? For what? What did I do, Dave? What did I ever do?
You tell me.
Didn't do a goddamn thing. What's your name, sir?
Dominic D'Angelo.
Fuck the Pittsburgh Penguins. What are you doing?
I'm from Pittsburgh.
I made it really clear in 4.
Okay, so an empty-headed dumb fuck like Hangman Adam Page. Now, you're not being vague. You're not being vague
Nope.
here and saying, I worked with this guy as a dumb fucking idiot. We could just kind of be like, ooh, is he talking about Hangman? No, he said, I'm talking about Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting.
We lost Chris.
Chris is having some internet, so he's probably going to drop out. But I think that's interesting because you're calling out Hangman by name. And could he have been culpable in all this? I mean, obviously, because he made the Colt Cabana reference, and Punk was probably like, listen, I don't want to talk about that shit. And then why don't you bring it to me first? Like, it's different. Like, if The Miz and John Cena want to work together and do something, I don't think The Miz or John have to run anything by each other because they've worked well together in the past. They don't need to do that kind of stuff.
There's a friendship that's been established year-long
and a trust, which is most
100%.
important. John, you know this from doing Schmodown stuff. Like if you're just working with a guy, you don't know how they're gonna feel.
Yeah,
like you don't know how they're gonna if you just go at them. So it's kind of like,
I've made that mistake with Scott Mance in my first program because I mentioned his wife, and he was like, pulled me aside and said, "Please don't mention my wife anymore in promos." And I said, absolutely, I will never do that again. When Dan and I were setting up our promos for the Schmodown Spectacular, Dan made it clear what the things were okay for me to reference and what they weren't. So he was cool with me doing what I was doing as long as I stayed away from certain things. So yes, you have to have the conversation, and we already have a trust. And he still felt that, let me just line this up because I know you don't mean any ill will, but can you please be aware of this? That's the thing you have to do. And when Hangman Page came out there and made that comment, and look, Hangman Page, you can do outlaw shit, but if you're doing outlaw shit because your boys are running the business, you're not as outlaw as you think. And that's the difference here. I think Page felt he could say that to Punk because he's got the Young Bucks protecting him in the back. And that's the mistake here. He crossed that line. Look, there's no way Rollins is bringing up Riddle's wife and his kids without Riddle's fucking approval. There's just a level there of certain subjects that are sore subjects with somebody. If Paige had brought up AJ Lee's mental health, I mean, fuck, can you imagine? So this is the stuff that you've got to be aware of, that there are lines that you cannot cross, or you have to have conversations with that person. And the reason Punk is so mad and pointing out Hangman Page, because I think there's a large number of people who don't respect Adam Page and clearly see him as someone who was pushed up to a certain level and then couldn't carry the ball. And now I liken him to Warrior, where everybody felt, oh, great, Ultimate Warrior, let's get him there. And once he got the ball, fumbled the ball, blamed everybody else, couldn't carry programs. And now we see him losing in the first round of a tournament for the title. So that tells you where Hangman Adam Page's status is in AEW, and certainly Punk. And Tony was nodding his head, as Justin Toner pointed out, as Punk was talking about Page. That speaks more volumes than anything Page or Punk said. So that is just crazy to me. Chris, your thoughts on what Punk said about Page?
No, I mean, it's just, man. Listen, they said in the chat, trust is the key. It's absolutely the key. And I'm hearing that there are a lot of talents in AEW who have come forward saying that they don't want to work with Page because they can't trust him. Yeah. You can't go into business for yourself in a genre, in a company where you have to put your safety and your health in someone else's hands. Yeah. And not that Page has a reputation for hurting people or anything like that.
Yep.
But dude, you're shooting on the top guy in the company right before pay-per-view. You know what I mean? You could have put a lot of different things in jeopardy, which was to Punk's point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And now, was it hyperbolic to say, someone who's never done anything in the business, and all that? I mean, a little bit, but again, we're talking about CM Punk, man, and the dude is going to tell you how he feels, and when you have the stroke in wrestling, when you have the stroke, and you come for the king again. You best not miss, man. And it's like, dude, it was just a total miss. It was a total miss, especially considering, to your point, John, how Adam's title reign was going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There wasn't a single person that was like, oh, he should beat CM Punk at this pay-per-view. No, everybody was ready for Punk to be the champion. He was the top guy. He was the biggest star. He had the most crossover appeal. He should have been your world champion. He should, in a lot of ways, still be your world champion. But we'll talk about that.
Say Hangman's numbers. Somebody pointed out Hangman's numbers are not as strong as Punk's numbers in leading the pay-per-views. That tells you everything you need to know. Sorry, go ahead.
I just want to throw in a couple super chats, or we'll never get through them all. Black Cinema Critic says, "I don't care about Punk's truth. There's time and place to do everything, and this is not an excuse to let out your grievances." Thoughts on that?
Black Cinema Critic, what experience do you have being in a situation like this to tell someone when they can bring shit up and not bring shit up? Watching stuff on a TV or YouTube or whatever does not make you an expert to decide when to bring stuff up, when not to bring stuff up. When would be the public time to bring this up? Look, Punk is not clean in all of this, okay? Punk has walked the line. I don't know how much of his pipe bombs were revealed before he revealed them. I don't know how much of the stuff he said to Triple H was revealed, but someone like Triple H can roll with whatever you throw at him and throw it right back in your face. You know, WWE is a whole nother ballgame. And I think Cornette, I'm not always the biggest fan of Cornette, but Aaron sent me Cornette's stuff and his analysis of it. And I found myself agreeing with him a little bit more without the snide comments, the Hardley Boys and all that, without the snide comments that he made about the Elite and about the Bucks and about Page. I do agree with the fact that these guys, as Chris pointed out, have created a little bit of a mini gang within AEW. Like, if you're not friends with us, you're not cool, and we'll kick you out. Even though we claim to be the rebels, we will also create a hierarchy and establishment that if you're not part of it and you rebel against us, we're going to get you railroaded out. That's ridiculous. And the friend stuff and EVPs versus talent, those are two different jobs. And so those are the things that you look at this, and this was a mom and pop store that wants to become a fucking corporation, but they're still acting like a mom and pop store. And I think Punk was trying to say, you can't be a mom and pop store if you want to bring me in and take this to the next level. And Tony Khan nodding his head, I bet there have been quite a number of power struggles over the last year between Tony Khan and Cody Rhodes and the Elite and Hangman Adam Page, even, where he's had to figure out, how do I satisfy them and also, kind of take this company to the next level? And we're in a transition phase, and the cracks of the transition really showed here in this media scrum.
Well, let's bridge it. I think that's a great segue to this next clip. Watch this one.
Because if you're an EVP, you don't try to middle your top babyface. Try to get your niche audience that's on the internet to hate him for some made up bullshit rumor. Really pisses me off. Stepping on your own dick, trying to fucking, make money, sell tickets, fill arenas, and these stupid guys think they're in Reseda.
First of all, why does he drink so much seltzer? But there's a lot of seltzer cans. But he's making a lot.
Come on, Aaron.
He said that's a lot of seltzer, man.
You gotta promote, dog.
I guess so. But he's talking about the Young Bucks like being in Reseda. He's talking about PWG. He's talking about all that kind of stuff. Like, he's not talking about Daniel LaRusso being from Reseda. That's a different thing. But that's exactly what he's talking about. He's saying, like, we're not here to do the fucking goofball stuff that you guys did in California. We're not doing that here. This is pro wrestling on TNT prime time. That's what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And you may not like the WWE, you may not like the WWE style, but that's what we are going for, because at the end of the day, you can wrestle in a fucking high school gym in front of 30 people, but I would probably rather wrestle in a fucking arena with 30,000 and make a fuck ton of money than I would to sit there and throw my body on the line in front of 30 people in a high school gym. That's the point that he's trying to make.
Yeah.
Like
And Tony
hey,
nodding along. You saw
yeah,
it in that
because Tony wants to make money too.
Yeah.
He is a co-owner of this company. This is when his father passes away or whatever. I hope that's not soon. He seems like a nice fella, but it's like this is his. Like this is what he wants. This is what he wanted to do, and he's not going to let these dudes piss it away because they want to play hopscotch in California. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
and that's what Punk is trying to say.
Yeah. AEW is staring at the barrel of a massive gun at WWE. I mean, everything in the world was WWE is vulnerable. Their product isn't good. The wrestling quality isn't good. The storylines don't make any sense. It's a mess. Everybody's unhappy. Everybody is a big happy family in AEW. You know, it's all friends wrestling. We get to do what we want. The boys run the asylum, et cetera, et cetera. Now those roles have reversed.
Yeah.
And momentum has changed uniforms big time. Everyone's praising Clash of the Castle. Everyone's praising NXT Worlds Collide. The numbers, Raw and SmackDown, just keep ticking up. And they are already beating you, AEW. They're already beating you. So
beating you badly.
Yeah. So it's like, you're still taking credit for, we won the Wednesday Night Wars. And Cornette had a great point about that. If Vince McMahon really wanted to go to war with you on those Wednesday nights, he had a whole roster of dudes he could have shipped back down to NXT to blow you out of the water. That was never the point. I usually don't agree with WWE's propaganda and BS, but
yes,
I think they're telling the truth. I think it was the Vietnam effort where it was like, I mean, we ain't gonna send the A team down there to battle you. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, fine. I mean, we lost. We'll pull out. But that was never what Vince McMahon wanted for NXT, to be a third brand. Triple H just was so damn successful, it became a third brand.
They didn't anticipate that, right?
Exactly. So it's like, dude, and Punk knows this. Punk's like, dude, we are in a situation here. We have to make waves, which is why I honestly think this was done on purpose on his part. It's like I was saying, it's not a shoot. I mean, excuse me, it wasn't a work, but I think in his mind, he was like, I need to make something happen. Because look what we're doing. Like you said, no one's talking about the pay-per-view. No one's talking about All Out. Everyone's talking about the scrum and what happened afterwards. And all eyes are on AEW. And it's like, for better or worse, Punk did that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He did it, and he knew it needed to be done. So I'm responding to the super chat now. You say there's a time and place to do everything. How else were they going to get this kind of press?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How else were they going to get this much attention in the wrestling world with WWE? I mean, honestly, kicking the shit out of them currently. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But now everyone's back talking about AEW, and that's all because of CM Punk.
Yeah.
Let me jump to another. Let me jump to another super chat here. Chris Cutcher says, "How much of the anger TK expressed towards WWE in the scrum was anger he felt about the trailer park debacle that took place beside him? I don't know if that's a CM Punk thing or what, but like, I don't know if that's a dig at him. But like, yeah, I guess we should mention it. Tony Khan talked about WWE, and he said that he was really pissed off that they ran two shows on the same weekend that they ran their show, and they split the audience or whatever."
Welcome to the
fucking business, baby.
Are you kidding me right now?
This is the big leagues.
Yeah, you want to play? They were nice with you because they didn't see you as a threat. Triple H understands the potential of a threat that you are, so he's going to use the full power. Maybe not the A team, as Chris pointed out here for Dynamite or for Rampage. But for the big games, he is going to bring his big people, and he's going to challenge you to step up to the plate. That is a time-honored tradition from Vince, now down to Triple H, of them wanting to squash any potential contenders for the title. And so to complain about it, I loved having Tony on the show. It was great interviewing him. But we're seeing cracks in his leadership at times, and we're seeing his own personal, emotional, constitutional makeup coming out in certain moments that I think can be a bit of a detriment overall to AEW. It doesn't mean AEW should get rid of him or Tony should. No, it's just that Tony, you can't be complaining when the people you want to go after are coming after you in return. That's the game. You should actually take it as a compliment that they're willing to bring out their big guns to try to squash you, because that means they actually see you as a potential threat. That should put a smile on your face, not an anger in your body.
I mean, you started it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
right,
your
really.
very first event, Cody comes out and smashes a throne. You know what I mean? Which is a reference to who?
Yeah.
Fucking Triple H, who's in charge. You think he forgot that?
Yeah.
You think that I mean, even though Cody's with the company now, he's not forgotten. And you've taken little digs here and there. Max Caster say a thing. John Moxley say a thing. Punk say a thing. Come on, man. Like, now that he's got full reins, yeah, he's coming at you, dude. He's coming at you, and you started it. That's a lot of how I feel about the scrum. You know, Adam Page, you started it.
Right.
And now Punk's going to finish it.
Because you won't back down. You won't eat a little crow because you got your boys, the Elite, backing you up. Now this is all happening. And this is really shaky because the other side of this, too, is that Tony is probably also frustrated. An element of the scrum was probably because some of these former WWE talents are seeing how Triple H is using their friends in such a positive way now.
Let me out.
And saying, let me out. The Malachi Black thing is really interesting. So, yeah, mental health and all that. But it could also be, fuck, man, I want to go back to WWE now they know how to use people. I want to go back to that. Keith Lee, there are a lot of rumors of these former. So that can be something that makes you shaky as well at a time. So this is such an interesting moment right now for AEW. And by the way, I thought their Dynamite was fucking fantastic in comparison to what we saw at All Out. So go ahead.
Oh boy, it's a lot. It's a lot going on. I want to move on to another super chat.
Okay.
You know what I think about this. So
real quick,
yeah.
Little Birdie told me, and I saw them talking about it in the chat, the Young Bucks reached out, put little feelers out to WWE this morning.
My God.
Just to kind of see what the interest is looking like.
Wow.
Look out, everybody. And I will say this, Malachi Black, I talked to him like at that event that I went to, and he was very candid with me that he is a fucking Triple H guy.
Yeah.
Like, he and Triple H work well together. Like, Triple H, he feels like he could give input to Triple H, and Triple H will respect him enough to give him constructive criticism, but also give him enough leeway to do his own thing, if that makes sense. So he's a Triple H guy. Yeah. So it doesn't surprise me that this happened. Chris Taylor says, Punk thinks he's a locker room leader, but he's a locker room problem. So is Randy Moss. They said that about Randy Moss. So is Terrell Owens. And you know what? They're two of the best motherfucking football players ever lived. So that's just what you got to deal with sometimes.
Yeah,
if you feel that way.
You've heard the stories. I mean, I watched some of the TikTok videos of, they're talking about how Booker T, because apparently there's a story that CM Punk went into the back in WWE and said, as the locker room leader, they're telling me to tell you guys to pick up your trash. And Booker T apparently threw his trash on the ground right in front of Punk and walked out. And so, yeah, Punk hasn't always, how can I say this? Hasn't always accrued the love of the guys in the back, because to be fair, Punk has been selfish in his desire to be the number one guy. He's an ambitious guy to be the number one guy. Some people felt he didn't deserve that, but look, I mean, he is got a large footprint in the world of professional wrestling because of his desire and determination and his skills, and people love him. The fans love him. So that's a part of it. And they hate him as well, but they watch. And so there's the element there. Yeah. So maybe he's not a locker room leader for sure. Maybe Brian Danielson rather, is the locker room leader, but Punk is trying to drag this company with, I think, Tony Khan's knowledge as well to the next level. And this small petty shit, or these small weird niche stuff as he's talking about, is what he sees as holding back the company and keeping it at this level. And he wants to drag it to the next. And we haven't heard anything from Brian Danielson on this, But Jericho commented in the scrum as well, where he said, yeah, going into business with yourself is not a smart thing. And Jericho knows. Jericho's been there. So this may be an interesting thing where these veterans come in and are like, y'all need to fucking understand what we're trying to do here and start thinking bigger than your little fucking show, And so that may be an element here as well.
I just, look, attitude reflects leadership. That's what I'm going to say. Yeah. And for all these, look, I've been following CM Punk for a very long time, since the tape trading days of Ring of Honor and all that. And people have talked about his attitude and this, that, and the other. That's because he cares so much about pro wrestling. He truly does. Yeah. Now, can he be a prick? Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. You know who else was a prick? Shawn freaking Michaels.
Oh my!
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm sure Triple H wasn't a fucking,
at times. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, you can name 1,000 people who've been pricks
Flair,
backstage.
Hogan, Rhodes. Yeah.
However, at every stage of the game, there was a strong personality who was in charge, and his authority was unquestioned. That Tony Khan does not have that in AEW. You weren't going to question Vince's authority in the WWE, period. You weren't going to question Bill Watts in Mid-South. You weren't going to question, you know what I'm saying, like several other personalities that have been around. Even Eric Bischoff for a time. When the boys are booking the boys and the boys are running the show and the inmates are running the asylum, you're going to get chaos at the bottom line. You know what I'm saying? You had
substitute teacher day, dude.
Absolutely. Bret Hart and Shawn literally hated each other and did the biggest business of that year over WrestleMania. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just I just don't. You can only blame someone being difficult in the locker room when there's no leadership keeping it in check. Period. That's just bottom. I just how I feel about pro wrestling.
I agree. There's no question, to bring it to sports again, there's no question on this earth who runs the Dallas Cowboys organization. There is no question. None. Jerry Jones runs that through and through. There's really no question who runs the Patriots. Robert Kraft to an extent, but it's Bill Belichick. So there's no question. There was no question who ran WWE. There's no question who runs the NWA. There's no question, and we need that. Black Cinema Critic again says, I listen to you guys every weekend. What Punk did at the media scrum was hands down selfish, taking away all that time for all the greatest matches. What happened? There's so much opportunity to do this another way. Well, with all respect, dude, he's not going to write an op-ed in The Athletic because nobody's going to read it. So this is the only way. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'll just jump to my end game of this. I fucking hated all of it. And I think all of them should be suspended. I think it was a bad look for everybody.
You got what you wanted.
I think everybody looked bad. If it was me and I was the boss, I would have fired all of them. Every one of them. I would have brought them in the locker room and said, you're all fucking fired. Fuck you all. I'll do this with Bryan Danielson and Claudio and Moxley. Fuck you all.
Remind me not to let you run Strong Style Industries because I can't have you firing the guy who's bringing us the biggest gates we've had on
I'm just telling you
4 years.
There would be either that and then I would bring them back because I'm cool off. But that's just me. That's just me.
No, but I hear what you say, but I think we're actually more on the same page than you think, Aaron. I'm defending Punk saying the things and feeling the things that he said. Mm-hmm. But the manner in which he did it, I don't defend. I think you're right. Calling out Paige and going to fucking, and fucking, that is not how you do it. That is not, you have to have, if you're going, and as Chris pointed out, if you're going to lead, you got to lead by example. And there's a way to do it. You don't have to be passive aggressive. You don't have to be mamby-pamby or hide what you really feel. No, you say, this is the deal. This is what happened. I think having this right after the match where blood is still in his fucking face was a bad decision. Everybody showers, everybody changes, everybody calms down, then they come out and talk about it. And I think this was the mistake here. Punk went out first because Punk was wired from that match, wired from whatever was going on. And I think he made the mistake in the manner with which he did it. But I think I pushed back on Black Cinema Critic by saying this is the time to do it because it's right after one of your signature pay-per-views when the spotlight is on you the most and you can have the most effect with your message. This was the right time to do it. It just maybe wasn't handled in the best way in terms of the rhetoric and the words that were used to express the situation and explain what was going on behind the scenes. And I think that's where the mistake is in this whole situation. Chris?
Which makes it so funny that, like, you know, when Tony was apologizing and stuff, Punk was like, "We're all learning here, Tony." Because
we're all learning here, Tony. You're fine.
To me, that was kind of, I mean, that's kind of my thesis. This just shows so much. It was like amateur hour, or just so much inexperience. Yeah, he said it. Dude, I'm old, I'm hurting, and I'm pissed off right now. That person probably shouldn't have a live mic, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's blood coming out of his face that he's like wiping off with sweat and seltzer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A lot of seltzer.
Apparently, he's got a torn tricep that's going to take 8 months to heal. Like, I'm sure he's frustrated about that. Like, I just freaking came back. I'm gone for about a year. You know, I can't wrestle. And these assholes are, you know what I mean, are all around me. I'm just a terrible time to talk. Let the man shower. Let the man relax a second, gather himself, you know, then make it happen. You can start the media scrum with the Acclaimed.
Yeah, with other people.
Christian Cage or whatever the hell else. You know what I mean? Let that happen. Like, give the man a second. You know what I mean? Good Lord. And I think it's the same thing with the fight that happened afterwards. It's like, you're going to come to him right after? Right after that is the time to confront him? I don't think so.
Right.
And as an EVP, you got to know better. You got to know better. You got to handle it better.
Yeah, well, we should explain the fight real quick. Yeah, there was a physical altercation that happened afterwards. Aaron, what are the details on that?
So, I mean, they're messy, but you know, we've heard things.
From what's being reported or rumored.
What's being reported allegedly is that CM Punk goes to his locker room where there is CM Punk, there is his dog Larry, and there is Ace Steel's wife, who apparently has a broken foot. And she was watching Larry while Punk did the thing. Ace Steel was not in the room at the time. Omega and the Young Bucks burst into Punk's locker room. Apparently they slapped their legs when kicking the door. But and they confronted Punk, and there was a ruckus. And then Ace Steel heard said ruckus and then came in the room. You know, that's his wife. There's apparently someone got bit by Larry. I don't like it got crazy. And he said, I'm going ham. I'm just going to, you know, bite Kenny Omega or whatever. So apparently Matt Jackson?
I think it was Nick who was knocked out.
Nick Jackson got hit in the eye with a chair.
He got knocked out.
And then got knocked out.
Yeah.
So that happened, apparently. So a lot of stuff going on here. Apparently MJF saw it happen, but didn't jump in, didn't say anything either way.
Man.
Exactly. So so there's that, and that's why they're all suspended.
This is an A&B conversation. I'm gonna see my way.
Yeah, fuck this. But yeah, I mean, this is nothing new, guys. Like, honestly, like, I know it's like seems like a big, like, crazy thing, but Sean and Brett got in a fight in the backstage area.
True.
Brett punched Vince McMahon in the face.
There's video of that.
Yeah. There's the British, Ray Rougeau punching Dynamite Kid in the mouth with a roll of quarters in his fist, like, and knocked out his teeth. That happens. Harley Race came to every arena in Kansas City with a fucking gun. So, like, there's levels to this game, and it happens every time. It happens a lot more than you think, but it's so scandalous that you didn't expect it. I guess, like, if I was Kenny in the Bucks, I'd be pretty fucking hot too. So I get it,
right?
But I don't know, man. I'm more of a pacifist when it comes to things like that. But I will step on you if I have to. So that happened.
And what sparked the fight is the comment where he said these people who call themselves EVPs that should have fucking known better. This shit was none of their business. I understand sticking up for your fucking friends. I fucking get it. I stuck up for that guy Colton more than anybody. I paid his bills until I didn't. It was my decision, which is where you put the clip in there. When somebody like Paige or somebody and referring Page, who hasn't done a damn thing in this business, jeopardizes the first $1 million house that this company has ever drawn off of my back and goes on national television and does that. It's a disgrace to this industry, to this company. Now, we're far beyond apologies. I gave him a fucking chance. It did not get handled, and you saw what I had to do, which is very regrettable, lowering myself to his fucking level. But that's where we're at right now. So him calling out the EVPs, that's the whole thing that sparked the fight. And clearly, just like this was bubbling under Punk, clearly this has been bubbling under the surface with the Young Bucks and Omega and Page as well. So these are two power contingents. And I wonder where Daniel Bryan is in all of this, or Bryan Danielson is in all of this, or Jericho is in all of this, or Miro, or these former WWE people. Are they seeing Punk's point of view, or are they more on the side of the Young Bucks? Are they sensing like there's a power struggle here between the Bucks and Page and Omega and their crew and the former WWE crew? Is that what's happening here? Are you having a civil war in essence within your own company because there is a desire to take the company to the next level, and Punk and Omega, Punk thinks there's a certain, and his crew thinks there's a certain way to do it, and Omega and the Bucks think there's a certain way for them to do it? I wonder. And Tony caught in the middle. He's not a Vince, right? The fact that he pre-taped his comments on Dynamite rather than coming out and risking the boos of the fans, I thought was a really interesting decision. But people point out, the way he's built, he's more of an introvert than an extrovert. He's not as, on the cuff speaking kind of guy as Vince is. So it's a different situation. So you wonder behind the scenes how Nick is in dealing with these two power dynamics that are happening within his own company. Because I'm sure he's trying to figure out how to fucking bring everybody back together, because there's a lot of talent on both sides of those power dynamics.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people have been praising Chris Jericho and Bryan Danielson for the way that they sort of accrued themselves and before Dynamite this week and kind of stepped up and did, a big kind of unity rallying cry, as veterans are supposed to do. You know what I mean? And if I'm Tony Khan, I'm leaning on those guys. Yeah, you know what I mean? To say, like, come on, keep these kids in check as I learn more and more how to do this. Because what has become painfully obvious in this whole conversation is that Tony doesn't have control. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
So lean on the guys that have all the respect, that get it, that know how to run a locker room. Lean on them. Learn as much as possible, as fast as possible. Because like I said, you're more than a talent. You're more than one of the boys when you're an EVP. Yeah. And you have creative control. You have hiring and firing decision-making power. You can't be running up on your top talent 3-on-1 when he's clearly pissed off. Just can't do it. It's just not a good look. Anyone in that position, I feel like, would have thought that they were threatened. I'm not defending Punk allegedly throwing the first punch. This is the part where I say I hate it all, where I top on the Aaron train and I say I hate it all, because it's just not. It's just not a good look on anybody's part. I know what that is when somebody's upset and I'm running on them with a group of dudes. Like, what was that shit all about? You know what I mean? It's
defense mechanism kicks in. Yeah, exactly.
Immediately. And then Ace Steel, I'm outside. My injured wife is in there. I'm hearing a tussle happen. I'm getting in by all means necessary. You know what I mean? Like, without hesitation. I'm not thinking about it.
Slap my leg or not.
In the room. I'm getting in the room. And, who knows what scene he saw when he walked in.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And
3 dudes standing over your wife in that moment. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
Rules,
a different thing happens.
Yeah,
I might bite a motherfucker if that happens. Yeah. It's crazy.
That's what I mean.
Well, I'm telling you,
go ahead.
Like, flat out, like, if John Roca comes on here next week and I'm not on the show and he calls me every name in the book, says that I'm a piece of shit and all this stuff, next time I see John Roca, we're going to talk. Like,
as Bernie Mac once said, there's going to be some furniture being rearranged in the room. Yes, exactly.
I think that's the same with anybody, though. I feel like that's the same with anybody.
Of course.
Same. So, like, I get it. Like, I totally get it. And yeah, it's a different beast if someone's like threatening your wife or your girlfriend. It's a different beast.
I'll give you a little window, man. I mean, this is the game. A few last year when I was doing the Schmodown, when Bateman pushed that bullshit that I was cheating and used one of his Action Army cronies to push the narrative that I was cheating, Christian reached out to me and he was like, if we do the spectacular, I gotta have to have you stay away from him because I don't want anything. And I was like, dude, I'm not gonna put my hands on him, but if he comes near me, he's gonna get my fucking 2 cents about the whole situation and the lies that he was spreading, because that's a fucking attack on my credibility that you did behind the scenes like a coward instead of coming up to my face and doing it and reaching out to me and having a conversation about it. You took the bitch way out. And so I'm going to call you out in that way, but I'm not going to go into a situation looking to instigate a fight. So I understand why you, as the Tony Khan of the Schmodown, have to make sure that you keep people at a distance. I found out that he had told people to kind of be aware if they get near each other and blah, blah, blah. So that's the kind of thing you have to do and be aware of. And so if people are going to talk shit about you and you're not around, that's the game. And you're going to risk a reaction when you're in the room again together, just like the situation here that happened in the fight, having what's his face, Ace Steel hear his wife. He might have heard her scream like grass, as Cornette was pointing out in his breakdown of it, and hearing your wife scream and shit's going on and you're walking in there. Holy fuck, you got to react to it. And as Aaron said, if you're going to talk shit about somebody later, don't be surprised that they come and confront you and get into your face about it, if they want to, because you've opened the door by doing that. So you got to take the ramifications of all of it.
I'm not saying violence is the answer. I'm not advocating for violence or anything like that. But sometimes, on occasion, somebody needs to get their chin checked. That's all I'm saying.
John versus Aaron with a bullwhip on a pole match. I like this.
That sounds oddly erotic.
You would challenge me as I'm recovering from COVID. That makes so much sense.
Yeah, that would be it. That'd be it.
Also, what was their plan? Is my question. What was the plan?
Are you going to beat him up to make him apologize?
We're going to go handle it right now. You think that anything productive is getting ready to happen? Also, yes, Punk lost his MMA fight. Yeah. He is still trained. You guys are trained fighters. Yeah. He will kill you. You know what I mean? In a real fight. Like, I don't know what any of the plan was. It just was the whole thing was just dumb. Like I said, I don't like Punk's reaction to it. I don't like that anybody got hurt, punched, bit, hit with a chair, hair pulled, everything. I hate all that happened. But boy,
also,
oh boy.
Chris, they're and Aaron, they're EVPs. There's a responsibility you have as an executive, and that's what's happening now. We should talk about the fallout. And Aaron, I'm sure you can give us the details of who's still employed, who's not, who's suspended, or whatever. But there's a investigation going on. This is a company. This isn't a promotion you put together in the backyard with your friends. This is a company, and there are rules. There are contracts that are signed. There's HR. There's so much that has to get involved here. And I'm so curious to see what the final results of these investigations are going to be in the end for all these people. But this is such a black eye. This is a great comment. Jeremy Miller is saying this isn't even Dixie Carter level bad. Yeah, you're 100% correct on that analysis here. And so I'm very curious to see how this is all going to play out, because as an EVP, you can't be physically threatening a member of your workforce. No matter how big Punk is in bringing money in, he's not an executive. He's an employee. And if you're an executive of a company that you have stake in, and you're physically threatening or attacking that person and the wife of someone who's not even full-time employee, there are so many ramifications to this in a company sense that could really blow the Young Bucks up and Omega into pieces from all of this. Lawsuits, Punk ain't got no problem suing somebody. So there is so much that is going to be falling out from this for quite some time to come.
And also from what I heard, the reason that this blew up insane was that this happened in front of AEW's chief legal counsel.
Oh, no.
I think Perek is how you say the last name.
Okay.
He's also the head legal counsel for the Jacksonville Jaguars as well. So yeah, some shit was going to go down
Jeremy
about
someone needs
suspensions.
to hire She-Hulk to get them out of this.
For real. Yeah, for real. Let me hit a couple super chats and then we can go.
And then I gotta get out of here because I'm
Rogan's gotta
out
go.
of breath, boys.
TK should film a reality show during the Elite suspension with Shane Douglas training them to run a target. That would be great. That would be a great TNA skit. I could see them doing that. That's awesome. Roberto Arsenal says, nobody in the dirt sheet said the Bucks spread those rumors. How can you push FTR acclaimed while Swerve and Lee are champs? One team gets screwed. I think FTR is already getting a push. You could push them both at the same time. No one said they had to be champions. And then nobody in the dirt sheet said that the Bucks spread those rumors. Yeah, well, you know, unnamed sources is another name for saying they told me, but it is what it is. So thoughts on that?
When rumors leak, it's usually not directly from certain people. They put stuff out there who they know go to the dirt sheets to make it happen. Of course, the Bucks aren't going to Dave Meltzer and being like, "Oh, this is happening." That's not how that works. That's never been how wrestling's worked. You plant a story with the right people, it gets to where you want it to go.
Sports teams do that. Studios do that. They know which, this may blow you guys' minds. There are certain people who work for certain publications who have connections to studios and they want to maintain those connections, and they create an intermediary between the studio and that reporter so that the studio can reach out to the intermediary or the reporter can reach out to the intermediary knowing that, hey, I want to run with this story, or hey, we want this story to be reported. That happens in entertainment, in Hollywood, in sports, and why not in professional wrestling? It's also entertainment, so no surprise that is also going on in this situation.
Roca, Christian Ramos said he sent a Streamlab. Do you care to read that?
Yeah, sorry, yes.
Because I don't have access to it.
Sorry, Christian. He says, with Jericho, Moxley, and Danielson as the locker room leaders, I hope the bullshit ends. I love Punk and the Elite, but don't cost yourselves money being prideful and learn to work together. Shit, if Edge and Matt or Kurt and Jarrett can work together, it is possible. So
that's a good point. That's a really good point. If Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett can work together when Kurt Angle's wife or ex-wife is now with Jeff Jarrett, that's a good point.
Didn't Sullivan work with Benoit as Benoit was taking woman from him? So I mean, like
he did.
Can make it happen. Edge and Hardy and
Edge and Lita, they did business.
Yeah, they did business.
Great Streamlab, because that's what I was going to put a bow on all this before we lost you, John.
Yeah.
I listened to Conan's take on this whole thing.
Oh.
And I 100% agree with him. Everyone's wrong in the situation.
Yeah.
Punk is wrong. Tony Khan is wrong. The EVPs, the Elite, Adam Page, everyone's wrong. Everyone played a part in this. Everybody takes the blame. So now that we've established that, if you don't make an angle out of this, you are the dumbest creative team that's ever lived.
Yep.
The dumbest.
Oh my God.
There is no bigger one-on-one wrestling match you can make in either company at this point than CM Punk versus Kenny Omega. There's not a bigger match. There isn't one. Everyone knows what happened. Everyone knows what's going on. Casual fan, smart mark, whatever. Yeah. And now Punk's going to be out for 8 months. You can let that shit simmer for a while. Yeah. That's the biggest match you can do. And you call it AEW Power Struggle if you got to. And that's the pay-per-view. But Omega versus Punk is the biggest match. You have to find a way to get it in the ring. And I'm glad that he brought out those other examples of people who've worked together that should not have worked together, maybe.
Yeah.
But they made it happen. And this is your opportunity, Tony. Just the way you fixed the MJF situation and got him back, you need to sit your ass down with everyone involved. Say, we listen, you, me, him, we all fucked up here. But that don't mean that we can't all fix this and make it happen.
Yeah. What's the fallout before I go, Aaron? Who's suspended? Who's blah blah blah?
All right. So Tony Khan came on Dynamite and he basically said, "Hey, the world title's vacant and the trios titles are now vacant." So that tells me, CM Punk, the Bucks, Ace Steel. There were some other people that were tangentially suspended. Brandon Cutler, who's associated with the Young Bucks. Like some other people were suspended, but that's like the big news is that, hey, we just put the titles on these guys. Now they're gone. And then CM Punk is injured, which Chris mentioned. So it could be another 8 months before we even see Punk. So there you go.
This is amazing. I mean, it really is. Like Triple H showed up. There's a great line in the film Legends of the Fall where the Native American guy is talking about Brad Pitt and describes him as the rock that all the ships crash upon. And that's what I feel like Triple H is. Triple H is the rock, good connection there, that all the ships crash upon right now. And the AEW ship has absolutely shattered because it was going along just fine, got cocky about the sea, and then this Triple H rock showed up out of nowhere. And now we're seeing the implosion and explosion of AEW. And this is going to be a hell of a challenge. These suspensions and all of that, I agree with it. Because Punk, you lose nothing. He's going to go out for 8 months anyway. Suspend him. You kill two birds with one stone. You don't do that interim nonsense. You just, whoever's going to be the champion at the end of this tournament is the champion, which I think is going to be Bryan Danielson, because that's how you smooth this whole fucking thing over. You bring someone that everybody loves, like Bryan Danielson. You give him the belt. You have him, not Mox. Let it be Danielson. No controversy around Bryan Danielson. He is going to be a guy that people will be inspired by again. There's still so much love for him in the company and in the pro wrestling fandom that's the smarter move. And him beating Hangman Page, to me, meant that they are going to line him up to be the next champion for AEW and have him hold the belt while all this controversy and tumult is happening, because he will smooth the sea. And so that's what I think is happening. And suspending everybody so everybody calms down. And as Chris said, maybe everybody gets in the room and hashes out how we're going to play this out could be very, very interesting, because you have so many former former WWE people there and AEW people there. Could be a very interesting invasion angle that they actually get right versus the way the WWE did it, or the Nexus angle versus the way the WWE did it. So those are the my thoughts on all these suspensions and where we might be going. And hopefully they take the trios belts, set them on fire, and never bring them out.
What?
Fucking because that was, I think Cornette was 100% right. They created that so those three guys could circle jerk each other with belts.
Yeah, of course.
Completely unnecessary. Nobody wants a fucking trios title belt. It's the dumbest thing I ever fucking heard. So burn them in the fucking fireplace.
We already got new champions.
Roca had to come in with a hot take on his way out.
It's the dumbest thing in the world. What, Quadro champions? Why not? Fuck it. It's the dumbest thing in the world.
To be fair, World Class had 6-man tag team champions back in the day as well. Okay. Fair enough. But I want to get your guys' thoughts on this real quick, Roca, before you leave.
Yeah.
So I was reading that Tony Khan has like a new right-hand man after that meeting, and that it's Tony Schiavone. Now,
I kind of love that, to be honest.
I hate it. And I'll tell you why.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Tony hasn't been around like the business in like 20 years, right? Like only the past couple of years has Tony come back to the business. Tony may have been a good personnel manager back in the day. If I'm Tony Khan, my right-hand man is Mark Henry. Mark Henry is my right-hand man. And then if you have a problem with something and you can't go to Mark Henry and get an answer, when you have Mark Henry, Punk talks about it, you have Mark Henry, you have Dean Malenko, you have Jerry Lynn in the back. If you can't get something done through those guys, you're screwed anyway. But Mark Henry is my right-hand man, not Tony Schiavone.
Don't forget that Regal is there too. I mean,
Regal too
was run NXT, and I say it's a good move because nobody hates Tony. And that's
a problem.
Well, I think for me that works because Tony is a nice guy. People respect Tony. I love what's his face putting his hands on Tony. That was fucking great. Reminded me of Gene. Don't put your hands on me. I got a team of lawyers.
Stokely Hathaway.
Stokely Hathaway, yeah, putting his hands on him. I thought it was great. But like Schiavone is a nice guy. People like, and you're right. Yeah, he hasn't been in the business in a while, but it doesn't mean he hasn't been watching the business, been aware of the business, heard of the stuff, had the connections, made relationships. Also, he saw when WCW set itself on fire and blew up. Who better to be there to stop AEW from doing the same thing than somebody who lived through the actual experience and can see the red flags when they're popping up, not after they've already gone past. So I like the idea. I know Mark Henry, I don't know how much respect he has from the boys. I don't know how I don't know that, so I can't speak on that knowledgeably. But I like the idea of Shivani at this point, only because I don't know much about Henry's connection with the guys in the back and the ladies in the back as well. So I don't know. I like the idea of Shivani. Chris?
I'll tell you who. Somebody who got out of WCW when he saw the first cracks in the boat and the water was starting to be taken on. The guy who was the EVP of talent relations during the Attitude Era that set WWE up as the company of the future.
Sassafras.
He's right there. He did the job.
Right.
He is responsible for so much of that talent that got there. He was responsible for Foley. He was responsible for Austin. He was responsible for all those guys.
And Cena
as well. And, he knows what he's doing, and he tells you the truth on commentary.
He sure does.
When they do something that doesn't make any sense.
My favorite, you say just real quick, Chris, what you said is absolutely right. My favorite word he said with the whole heel turn, he said, "You never trust any." Taz is like, "Never turn your back on anybody in wrestling." And JR without missing it, he goes, "Never do it in life. Never do it in life.
Never do it in life."
You're right. Yeah, never do it in life.
Never do it in life.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, if the man is gonna shoot on commentary, he's gonna tell these wrestlers exactly what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
it's a good.
He's
point.
the guy. I think he's the guy for sure.
Well,
and Regal, I think, is an outstanding choice too.
I think Regal, if he steps down from the Black Bull Combat Club, Regal could be a very interesting and a great asset to have as your right-hand man. You implode that faction, and, they don't really need that faction. If you're going to make Daniel Bryan champion, Claudio's going to do his own thing. Wheeler Yuta's still building. You don't really need to put that together anymore. You could make that a casualty of this and make Regal your guy as he ascends to this section of the status in AEW. I don't know.
Unreal times we're living in. One more super chat from Chris Cutcher again. He says, "At least World Class had the Freebirds and Von Erich setting the territory on fire to justify those 6-man belts." Exactly. Thank you. Shout out to World Class Championship Wrestling and Sausage. Good old JR.
I gotta get out of here before I die. I will say one last thing. Loved Clash at the Castle. That's my thoughts. I know you guys are going to talk about it. Really enjoyed it. Had such a blast. Again, was it worth getting bronchitis for? Probably not, but it was still an incredible pay-per-view and some great matches. And for anybody who watched my reactions on Twitch, you know how much I loved it and enjoyed the matches. And I thought the ending was the right ending up until Tyson Fury got on the mic. I thought that was the dumbest fucking idea.
So weird.
I bet he was supposed to sing Sweet Caroline, didn't know the fucking song, and sang American Pie in the middle of Wales for no fucking reason at all. And even Drew tried to get him back on track by going, "Do you want to sing Sweet Caroline?" And Tony Tyson just kind of walked out of the ring and go, "No, I'm good. You do your thing." And it's like, no, what the fuck? But him knocking out Austin Theory is one of the top 10 moments of the year.
love that.
Top 10 moments. Nobody saw that coming. Top 10 moments of the year. And I thought 3 banger matches throughout the whole pay-per-view were great. So those were my thoughts. All right, I got to get it. Love you guys. Thanks so much. I'm going to go rest, and hopefully I'll be back to 100% by next Saturday, and we'll have some fun. Thank you, guys. See you.
See you, buddy. That piece of John Roca's such a piece of crap. No, so Chris, man, got a lot going on. I don't know if you caught it earlier because you weren't on here though, but I mean, I did do the big announcement without you at the top of the show. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you've kept it in your pants this whole time during this discussion. So I'm not going to fault you for celebrating this. And listen, now living in the aftermath of it, I can't say it was the wrong choice. I can't say it was the wrong choice. It is as much as, who was my third girl who used to be Bea Priestley?
Blair Davenport.
Yeah, as much as I'm a Blair Davenport fan and I thought that she was the right call, she's not that established in NXT. Sure. And Mandy needs a little bit more time. Still, I think we see the Toxic Attraction is gone and on the main roster. Shout out Gigi. So Mandy as a solo act, I think now's the time to kind of see what she can do. So let her run with it. I mean, look, I saw that. I know she can do that, but we need to see what she can do in the squared circle.
Well, I just had to rehash that. Christopher Stykeleather says, Aaron, you're going to cry when she loses at Halloween Havoc premium live event and goes to SmackDown. No, because she's not. So shut your mouth. All right, move it on. I think we've tied up that whole situation in a nice, neat little bow that we all hated it, but God, was it entertaining. So do you want to talk about Dynamite real quick, and then we'll move on to the WWE stuff? Okay. All right, so AEW Dynamite happened. Of course, Tony came out, suspended everybody. Then we had the Death Triangle defeating the Best Friends to become the new Trios champions. MJF cuts a promo and is interrupted by Jon Moxley. Tony Storm defeated Penelope Ford to retain her title. Wardlow defeated Tony Nese to retain the TNT Championship. Bryan Danielson defeated Adam Page to advance in the World Title Eliminator Tournament. He will face Chris Jericho in round 2. And the main event, for some reason, was Daniel Garcia defeating Wheeler Yuta to win the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. So, thoughts on AEW Dynamite?
An enjoyable episode. It felt, and I've seen a lot of people say this, it felt a lot like AEW when it was at its best, where it was about newer talent as opposed to super established talent. I really don't know what they're doing with Darby Allin. I don't know why he's not the focus. When Roku was saying that he thinks Bryan Danielson should be the champion, I kind of feel like Darby should. Darby's the epitome of star that the company has made. I get that they want somebody who, like you say, can kind of calm the waters, right? But the safe choice isn't always the best choice. Not always. And I just think that Darby he's that guy. He's a fresh face. He can work. He was great as the TNT champion, which is what that belt should be for, to groom people, to see can they hold it down as a champion. And I just think that he's unique enough to and you always still have Danielson and Moxley and all these other guys if it doesn't work out. You know what I mean? That's totally fine. But in the meantime, I say give the kid a chance. But that has nothing to do with this episode because Darby wasn't even there. Death Triangle, definitely a better choice than the Best Friends to hold the Trios Championship. So I guess we'll see what happens there. I didn't know we were going to get 2-belt pack at any point in AEW. MJF, the guy's he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. Oh, everyone's saying I should be a babyface. Here's an over-the-top, ridiculous version of it that everybody can see through. Everybody knows what's getting ready to happen next. I would have ran with it probably for a couple of weeks, to be honest with you, rather than have Moxley, expose it immediately. I probably would have let him do that for a few weeks before, obviously, the thing came out. Tupac, yes. Eddie Kingston that tweeted out a picture of Pac on a Tupac album cover.
Amazing.
With the 2 belts. And so I'm all in for Tupac. What do we get after that? After the MJ thing? And then look, great promo by Moxley. Somebody had to step in and say, listen, I'm the guy no matter what happens around here. And that's kind of what I was saying a couple weeks ago with Omega returning. There has to be that guy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Not necessarily whoever the world champion is, but you got to have the ace. You got to have the ace. For years in WWE, it was Hogan, then it was Austin, then it was Cena, now it's Roman. AEW, you could pick 7 guys, and it should be that way. You know what I mean? It should be who's the guy, no matter if he's the champion or not. Who's the guy? Moxley seems to want that responsibility. Hey, man, if he can handle it, he's done great the last few weeks as champion. Let him do it. So I really enjoyed that promo. Wardlow, I thought it was a good segment. it's not a good sign when guys are responding to fan criticism in kayfabe, because it means that it's true, essentially. It means that the perception is absolutely right on. And who's going to argue that Wardlow hasn't lost some momentum, going into coming in after winning the TNT Championship finally? He hasn't had a feud since he won the belt. He's just been still squashing people. Now he's hanging out with FTR. It's just like, hey man, like, let's give him something. Like, I get it. How do you top or even follow what went down with him and MJF? But you got to try, right? You got to give it a shot. Somebody's out there. And then, the Bryan Danielson Adam Page match. That was a great match. Right results. It is not the time to elevate Page back to the world title picture. He still needs. It was underwhelming, his title reign ultimately, right? Is this going to be one that we're going to be remembering? And it's like, oh man, remember that run as the babyface champion, the cowboy shit? And the guy's over enough. So, again, there's something to do with him. I don't have the answers right now because my mind is still in media scrum, elite punk world, but there's got to be something that you could do with Adam Page right now that doesn't involve him being in the world title picture. Bryan Danielson should definitely be in the finals. I'd love to see him and Darby in the finals. I think that'd be great.
Hate to burst your bubble on that one.
No,
it's not happening.
But then the Daniel Garcia, Will Yuta, why was this the main event? I'm not certain. You have a Ring of Honor world champion in Samoa Joe who never seems to wrestle. So if you're going to put a belt on the line in the main event of Dynamite, it probably should be that one. With that being said, I do like the continuing storyline of Daniel Garcia. They seem to find a way to get around his sort of charisma vacuum of working the mic by having two very charismatic guys around him in Jericho and Daniel and Bryan Danielson. So it's working for me. And then it also made Wheeler Yuta look stronger in a loss too, which is something that AEW has been very good at actually from the beginning. That WWE struggled with for quite some time until this recent thing with Sheamus. Let me tell you, because that dude is more over than I think he's ever been. But we'll talk about that when we get to WWE. But that was Dynamite.
Man, the Ring of Honor titles mean fuck all right now. Like, none of them mean anything.
No,
I'm the 1991 Martha Spelling Bee champion. Okay, it's on the level.
Yeah.
It's on the level. Like, it's the same thing. Daniel Garcia, charisma of a brick, though I have been impressed. I'm coming around on some of these people. Like, you guys think it's a gimmick when I'm saying I'm coming around on Moxley. I'm dead serious. Like, I have really come around on Jon Moxley. I was never a big fan of Dean Ambrose in WWE, but when he transitioned, I was like, here's this guy just doing jerk-off matches, saying he's going to eat somebody's face and whatever. But I really have appreciated what he's done in the past couple months, especially when he was champion. I thought he had a good run. I thought he had a good first championship run, to be quite honest with you. And again, I will say, if the year stopped now, how is he not in your top 5 of wrestlers of the year? I think he's had a great run. Bryan Danielson defeating Adam Page does not surprise me. I think Bryan Danielson is your guy to win the whole thing. Didn't talk about it, but on Rampage, Sammy Guevara eliminated Darby, and that made me want to cry. I agree with you on this Darby stuff. I don't understand what they're doing. To me, he's marketable. I went to NXT with a 7-year-old child that is the biggest Darby Allin fan I've ever seen. Like, he loves Darby Allin. Would not stop talking about Darby Allin. He's got that appeal. People love this guy. And I don't know if he's world champion. I don't know if I'm ready to go on a limb with you that far. I was surprised to see that Sting is not in this. I kind of thought that would be cool.
You and me both,
to bring eyes to it. Like, him and Jericho could wrestle. That would have been kind of fun. But to me, just another, the big story. Everything overshadowed Dynamite this week and probably will for the next couple of weeks, at least until Grand Slam, is the whole media thing. Good Lord, it was awful. But that's where we're at. That's where I'm at on AEW right now as a whole. I think it's a fire, and you just got to kind of put them out as they come.
Yeah, 100%. Who knows how long I guess the suspensions are going to last as long as the investigation goes into this thing. But like I said, to me, that shouldn't last that long. I just think as president, owner, leader, CEO, you have to just say, like I said, share in the responsibility, take ownership of you should have having nipped this whole thing in the bud very early, and now it's spun out of control. And you punished everybody, even though how much of a punishment can you really say to CM Punk when he was going to be out 8 months anyway? But it's just one of those things where it's like you all played a role. It sucks for everybody. How do we make it not suck for everybody? How do we get everybody to do what the company is supposed to do, which is create an alternative and feed our family in the biggest way possible? And that, to me, like I said, is a storyline with Punk and Omega.
And never do this again.
Yeah, absolutely not. If I never see that fucking Joker mask again, I swear to, oh my God.
Okay, so let me ask you this. MJF comes out at the pay-per-view with Stokely and Morrissey and the Ass Boys were all there. Are they in a group now? Is that
it
a group?
Doesn't seem like
no?
it.
That's weird.
I think Stokely's group is a group. I don't think MJF is a part of it. It seems like, and nor should he be. Really, it's like
no, he shouldn't. But
yeah, he did the Pinnacle thing, and that fizzled out, and they didn't amount to much as a stable. So it's kind of like, don't just stick him with some random ass dudes and be like, oh, these are his lackeys or whatnot. No, he doesn't need it. He doesn't need it, and it doesn't even elevate them that much, to be honest. I just feel like let that Stokely thing be. I guess they were just hired goons for the night because he wasn't going to assert himself in the whatever ladder match, which kayfabe doesn't make any sense because it's
it really doesn't. That's what I wanted to bring up, because if you're one of his lackeys, if you're one of Stokely's lackeys, and he climbs up and gets that chip, that's essentially money in the bank, right? So if I'm Morrissey or somebody like that, why am I not kicking Stokely's ass and taking that briefcase for a world title shot?
Right. I guess because MJF was officially in the match, according to the voice recording from Tony, and the other guys weren't, I guess. But even still, it's just like, why would you help someone else become a world champion and it does nothing for any of your guys? That doesn't make any sense.
Yes, fair point. Fair point. All right, I think we're done with AEW now, guys. I think we can all move on. I did want to say Luis Enrique de la Peña sent in a super chat earlier. I wrote it down. It pertains to something later, so we'll talk about that later. If anybody else has any super chats, feel free. I no longer have access to Streamlabs because John is gone. So, with that being said, I would like to move on to Clash at the Castle, and then we can talk about that if you want, or if you have to go, I understand. But we'll jump there. Clash of the Castle results are as follows. Damage Control, which is Bailey, Io, and Dakota, defeated Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka. I wrote it wrong in the notes. Liv Morgan defeated Shayna Baszler to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship. Rey Mysterio and Edge defeated Finn Balor and Damian Priest, with Dominic kicking Edge in the balls and clotheslining Rey Mysterio. Seth Rollins defeated Riddle. Gunther defeated Sheamus to retain the Intercontinental Championship, with Imperium reforming, adding Giovanni Vinci, the former Fabian Eichner, back to the team. So now we have Imperium once again, thank God. And Roman Reigns defeated Drew McIntyre with some help from Solo Sikoa to retain the WWE Championship. Your thoughts on Clash at the Castle?
I mean, what a fabulous pay-per-view. I mean, it was short in comparison to what they usually do, these long, drawn-out shows. 6 matches and we were out of there? That's about the right length, I think. That's about the right length for a pay-per-view, or a premium live event even. Everybody and their mom knew Damage Control was going to win this match. They had to, or they were going to be completely buried. They should be still the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. I think that would heighten the situation between the two factions, but the absolute right outcome with Bayley getting the pin over Bianca, showing that she can indeed beat the women's champion, and having it being stuck in Bianca's craw about it, which they continue to play on Monday Night Raw, was perfect. Liv Morgan, like I said, they kind of written themselves into a corner. You can't really beat her. She just won the title. It just makes everything look weak. Don't appreciate the shenanigans. Well, I guess there was a little shenanigans, but I don't know. It probably should have been a bit more of a screwy finish for her to beat Shayna. I don't like the idea that she could beat Shayna straight up, even though this apparently is leading to what I predicted weeks ago, which is Ronda teaming with Shayna, as we saw Ronda approach her on SmackDown and say, "Let me know when you're ready to take over this show. I'll be waiting," or whatnot. So if we're getting that, fine with it. Rollins Riddle, good, solid blood feud match. I kind of knew that this wasn't the end. There got to be a stipulation, blow off to this feud when it gets that heated. So another chapter in the story, but a good one, a good chapter. Gunther and Sheamus, dare I say, match of the year candidate? I mean, just all the chemistry in the world, the beating of the chests. I mean, just hamburger meat those guys created out of one another's anatomy. Yes, to your point, Imperium being back at full strength, right thing to do. Let's just get the music back and everything is fine in the world. Everything is right. And then just love what they did on SmackDown, where it's like, yeah, okay, now we're going to do the 6-man and have the newest member pick up the win. So it doesn't look like they're just two fucking idiots following Gunther around. You know what I mean? And little side note to why I've accepted Gunther, as we talked about in our group chat, Walter was given the option apparently to change his name back to Walter, and he had denied it, saying that was a different person. It's a representative of of his past. Gunther is his current and future, so that's what he wants to run with. So what can I say? I can't fight it anymore. But goodness gracious, what a great Intercontinental Champion he's proving to be, and Imperium making the act complete around him and makes him look even more elevated in a world where we heard reports that Vince McMahon was going to bury him because he didn't like his presentation initially on SmackDown. And look what we've got now. Not only do we have Gunther looking like an incredible Intercontinental Champion, he gets Sheamus over in a defeat in a way that, like I said, did you hear his pops on SmackDown and the way the crowd was cheering? Dude,
Unreal.
is unbelievably over. I mean, got a standing ovation the night of the Premium Live event right afterwards. He's finally getting his flowers, and hey, much to his promo before this match, he deserves it. He deserves it. He's been putting in the work. He's been having banger after banger after banger, and it's paying dividends for his faction. Look how over Pete Dunne was on SmackDown. You know what I mean? Like,
you love to see it.
You love to see it. It's fantastic. It's working out for everybody, and it proves that good wrestling still can get people over in 2022, and that is always a good sign. That's always a good sign of the health of the business. And then, we knew Dom was going to turn. I love that he's emo Tobey Maguire now. As part of I just want to, look, maybe I'm a bit of a perv, but I want to know the details. You said you made a man out of him. What'd you do? What'd you do, Rhea? Why is he a man now? Why is he walking a little bit more upright? Why does he seem like he's grown a little bit more facial hair? Why is his chest poked out a little bit more? Let me know. What did you do? I want to find out. I could be made a man out of.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All
little
right.
Snoop, perhaps? No? Okay.
This...
And then, Solo Sikoa making the debut, adding to the look. What's everything that's great about the Bloodline story is when, hey, there it is. A
lot of that.
Yeah. That makes me a man. I can make anyway. Are the chapters that move the story forward, and every time the Bloodline storyline has gotten stale is when the story isn't moving forward. And here's yet another wrinkle. Like, we got it all started with the Jey Uso thing. You add Jimmy, you add Heyman, you add Sammy. Now you've added Solo. It's just good shit. It's just damn good shit. And what a better way to debut, an NXT guy than to inject him into the biggest wrestling story in the company over the years. I mean, I feel like in the Vince McMahon regime, he would have got debuted with a different name. They would have ignored his connection to Roman and the rest, and he probably wouldn't be part of this. But this just was like perfect because it was like, dude, Drew threw everything he had at these guys. What didn't he expect? The baby oops. Makes all the sense in the world. Made Drew look strong in his loss. And then it added a wrinkle to what's going on now between him and Karrion Kross, where it's like, dude, you couldn't beat him. Get out of the way because I'm going to beat him. You know what I mean? And Solo was the key to that. So I loved everything about it. I just thought it was a great show. Kudos. Well done.
Oh man, I'm just in such agreement with you just about everything. I love Clash at the Castle. The only thing I didn't really care for was the Liv Morgan match, but whatever. Everything else I thought was great. Imagine, if you will, being Edge, and you're like, okay, Edge, you're gonna come back. We're gonna put you feud with Randy Orton because you guys work well together. We're going to get you in the world title match, but we're going to add Bryan Danielson because it kind of adds like a little flavor to it. But now you're going to feud with Dominic Mysterio, not Rey. Dominic, poor Edge. That's all I have to say about that. Gunther and Sheamus, like I said, I think people thought we were crazy last week when we said, dude, this is like low-key banger alert. Sheamus wasn't lying. Banger after banger after banger after banger. And I was so excited for this match. I, put the phone away, turned the phone off. All my attention was focused on this match. I had a cold beer. I was in good spirits watching this match. Great time with it. I thought it was excellent. I've never in my life wanted Sheamus to do the 10 beats of the Baldwin. I've never been like, yeah, do that. But when he finally got it after teasing it 3 times, it's like, hell yeah. Yeah. This is big, meaty men slapping meat. This is what Big E is talking about, dude.
That's right.
This is what he's talking about. And I just thought it was an excellent old school big man match. I thought the right guy won. Gunther is the right Intercontinental Champion. Sheamus gets over in a big way. I never thought in my life I would be so excited to see Sheamus wrestle, but I was, and good for him because he deserves that, like you said. The Reigns and McIntyre stuff, I thought it was an excellent match. I thought that when Drew McIntyre hit Roman with that headbutt, I thought that looked awesome, and I was like, oh my god, Drew McIntyre is going to win this, huge pop, and it just wasn't meant to be. And keep him chasing, right? That's the old wrestling adage, keep him chasing. I thought Solo Sikoa, if you're going to be, like you said, if you're going to be debuted, why not be debuted with the top guy? The top guy. And it makes sense because even though he's coming from NXT, Solo Sikoa, so the whole WWE verse doesn't know this guy. His look, you could tell that he's an Uso. He's a member of the family. So that was good enough. So that's cool. And I thought it was awesome. I thought it was a great show. A lot of people, my UK people, were saying, "Yeah, we need to bring WrestleMania to the UK." I said, "Yeah, you fucking chill on that." But it was a great show that they can do once a year. Please don't wait 20 years to bring a stadium show to the UK because it's well overdue for that. It was awesome.
Absolutely. And I love the idea of doing it annually. Better than going to Saudi Arabia. Good Lord.
Oh God. And I'm sure the wrestlers didn't mind going to the UK. I don't see any more super chats, so we're going to move on to Monday Night Raw real quick. The Judgment Day with Dominic confronted Rey and Edge. Los Lotharios, New Day, and Alpha Academy and Street Profits were in a 4-way tag team match to determine the number one. That was a lot. Tag team title contenders when Braun Strowman made his return and killed everyone. Raquel and Aaliyah defeated Doudrop and Nikki ASH to retain their tag team titles. It's 2 title losses in a weekend for Doudrop and Nikki ASH. It hurts. Kevin Owens defeated Austin Theory. Damian Priest defeated Rey Mysterio. And Bobby Lashley defeated The Miz to retain his U.S. title in a cage match with a little help from a hell of a camera angle. and Dexter Lumis. Your thoughts on Monday Night Raw?
Just overall, I think, we already talked about the Judgment Day stuff. I think that I don't know how I feel about Braun being back yet. You know what I mean? Personally, he can go fuck himself as far as I'm concerned with a lot of his personal views. But as a character, it's kind of like, all right, well, what do you do with him? I guess he's on the SmackDown roster now. Is he going after Roman? You would think with their history, right? But then, what of the cross of it all, So it's interesting. I want to see what the story is with Braun before I make a decision on how I feel about his character being back.
Sure.
But boy, do they love using him to bury the tag team division.
Just when they built it up, dude.
Why they do that all the time. I think we all see where it's going with this Raquel and Aaliyah storyline, how they keep praising Raquel and keep making it very clear that Aaliyah is the weak link on the team. It's very like, okay, so she's going to turn on this chick at some point, like, obviously, and be the monster that you guys are building her up to be, I guess. And then I actually like the new look, Nikki ASH, by the way. I like the no cape, the black and white. Looks good on her. Hopefully this storyline of them losing a lot is going somewhere. Kevin Owens, MVP of Monday Night Raw right now.
Always.
MVP. Can't wait till the thing with him and Roman escalates more, and then the whole Sammy of it all. That's what I salivate for every week in WWE. And then the ending to the cage match. I mean, just the most memeable, fantastic moment, because it was like, wow, like he's really out of this cage. He is about to defeat Bobby Lashley, and then just there's Dexter. You can't see his lower half, probably for good reason. And it was just a fantastic way to end it. I almost would have ended it there, just him going back in and then just getting, destroyed by Lashley. I don't know if we needed him going in there and getting choked out by Dexter. That might have been a little extra, because it's like, I don't feel bad for the Miz. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Miz is a dick, and so what you showing Dexter do this. We gotta do something else. We gotta fast forward on where this is all going with that. But another enjoyable Hunter era of Raw.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny. Like, we were in the text chain, like me and Chris and John, and Chris was like, "I think Braun Strowman's coming back," and then 2 seconds later, that whole thing happened. He's like, "Ah!" So there you go. That was great. The thing with Lumis and Miz is killing me. Like, I love it. I don't know where it's going, but I really enjoy it. And of course, he's choked him out and cradling him in the ring. I love it. I'm gonna say this, Chris, and you guys are gonna think I'm insane, but I'm gonna say it. There's been no more important utility player in the WWE that I can ever think of than Mike Mizanin. Ooh. A guy that you can I need something, put Miz there. And deliver, not just like, I'm going to put you there, like put you there and I'm going to deliver. I would say maybe Shawn Michaels, but Shawn Michaels was the world champion and the top guy. Miz isn't the top guy. Miz is the top utility player. You need him. It's like in baseball. You need the Miz to steal a base. Miz will steal that base for you. Like, he's the right guy for any scenario you want to put it. You want to have him get eaten by zombies? All right, we'll stick the Miz in there. You want to have him make fun of John Cena and his fiance at the time? We'll throw the Miz in there, and it'll work every time because Mike Mizanin is so good, and everything works for the Miz. I kind of feel like Bobby Lashley's getting buried, because why does Bobby Lashley need help to beat the Miz? He don't.
No,
he don't.
No, not at all.
And if you're going to give me somewhere down the road, Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman, I'll take that. I was telling John before you came on, I'm kind of confused about the crazy uproarious cheers that Braun Strowman is getting, because I'm with you on that. Like, fuck his politics and whatever he says. Like, I'm very confused by that. Like, I kind of expected him to come back, but that confused me. But we'll see where it goes, I guess, for Braun. But that is Monday Night Raw. Anything more to add for Monday Night Raw?
No, sir.
All right, I'm going to go to SmackDown real quick because I have something that I don't know if you saw, and I have to show you. So SmackDown started with Imperium, thank God, defeating the Brawling Brutes, which is Pete Dunne, Sheamus, and Ridge Holland, who I could actually see less of. The Usos and Sami Zayn add Solo to the bloodline. McIntyre beats up Sami with the chair. He took the hits. Raquel and Aaliyah defeated Toxic Attraction. I didn't really care for that. Ronda Rousey defeated Sonya Deville, Natty, and Xia Li to become the number one contender for the SmackDown Women's title. We kind of talked about that already. Hit Row and the Street Profits defeated Los Lotharios and Maximum Male Models in a 8-man match. Alpha Academy tries to shoosh the crowd, but Braun Strowman comes out and beats them up again. And Drew McIntyre defeated Solo Sikoa via DQ when Cross got involved and choked out Drew McIntyre to end the show with the old Cross jackets. So what did you think of SmackDown? Anything to add there?
I mean, same. Was every week now with WWE, it's just a gladiator situation. Were you not entertained? And I've been thoroughly entertained every single week. I mean, we've touched on a lot of this with Imperium and Ronda Rousey and, like I said, Toxic Attraction. Shout out to Gigi. Good to see you in the main roster, girl. And all I could really say is, I mean, I would like the Hit Row, Street Profits, Male Model, Lotharios thing. I think they can break up now into separate tag team matches between the four of them. We have the personal issues, so okay, let's get some good tag team action between the guys. Because I'm a big fan of tag team feuds that have nothing to do with the titles. So that's good. Is there a more underutilized guy in WWE than Chad Gable? Chad Gable is truly the second coming of Kurt Angle. He really is. I mean, in all aspects. He kind of favors him, which makes that whole Jason Jordan thing even more baffling from the past. He's got the Olympic pedigree. He can work the mic. He can be the shitty American hero heel. Like, he's got it all. And the dude can wrestle. Let's not forget that he's unbelievable in the ring. So we got to do something with that guy. We got to do something. I don't know if just getting pounded by Braun Strowman is the way, but impressive powerbomb of Otis by Braun Strowman. That was pretty ridiculous. Other than that, again, solid debut by Sikoa. Great ending with Karrion Kross. I like the angle that they're going with of just like, because let's not forget when people were sort of getting tired of McIntyre at one point, not that long ago, because he kept going for the world title after he lost it. And it just got annoying. And it was like, this is a great storyline to stop that from happening again, because Drew's such a top guy that he kind of almost has to always be in the main event. But now you have someone being like, dude, move. It's my turn. You had your turn. It's my turn. And he's a fresh face with a great presentation, great valet, just good stuff all around. I mean, if we're getting Cross and McIntyre for the next pay-per-view, I'm all for it. They just need a proper opponent for Roman right now. So
do we need to do the black and white with the choke out though?
Yeah, it's like save it for the entrance. I don't know if he needs to go into Spider-Man noir mode every time he's on screen, but just do it for the entrance, and I think we're fine with that for sure.
Yeah. Let's see. Who said it earlier? Shit. Okay. Draws Walker. He said The Miz. He's Ricky Henderson. He is Ricky Henderson. What a great analogy. It's perfect. Yep. Absolutely. The utility player that you need. I do want to bring this up. I like SmackDown as well. I really enjoyed the Solo Sikoa stuff. I agree with you on pretty much everything that you've said. Imperium, so good to see them back. Glad to see the Imperium bomb. Thought Marcel might have been hurt because he landed really awkwardly on that knee, but he seems to be okay, so that's good. I'm glad to see it. But this clip was from WWE.com that did not make air, and I'm not happy with it. I wish it would have been. It would have made air because it's so good. And this comes from our buddy Ryan Satin, who clipped it out for us. Thank you, Ryan. And here we go. Chris, are you ready for this? I need everybody to pay attention to what is being said.
We just cannot let this happen again.
Gentlemen, you have to pick those chins up, lift those chiseled chins. I've been here before, and unfortunately, a couple too many times. And in that process, I have learned you have to go through the day to get to the night. Yeah.
It looks like we're getting LA Knight back in the fold. Screw this Max Dupree stuff. We're getting LA Knight. Yeah, back in the fold. What do you think about this? I think this is huge for SmackDown.
Oh, absolutely. Another fantastic mic worker, in-ring worker to be placed right in that solid middle card area who can make some things happen. Because why do you need two managers for Maximum Male Models? I mean, Maxine, she's fine. She's totally fine doing it on her own. They don't need him in there. Let him do his thing as LA Knight. He was great in NXT. He can be great on the main roster. We're under the direction of Hunter, who knows what to do with his guys. He was definitely a Hunter guy. Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm excited about it. Yeah, why that wouldn't have happened on, the main show is very bizarre, because within what he shows up as LA Knight next week, and it's like, wait, when the fuck did that happen? So
it's what's weird to me is like, we know we as wrestling fans have watched wrestling for a long time, but we know what Vince likes. It just seemed to me like with the look, with the mic skills, with the moves, with the charisma, that LA Knight would have been a Vince guy. Like Vince would have seen LA Knight on NXT and said, I need that guy. And it's just so strange to me that they made him a manager. Like, yeah, he's great on the mic, but manager ain't it, dude. Like I'm ready for it, dude. I cannot wait for LA Knight. Then again, they may bring him to Raw to kind of separate him from the Maximum Male Models thing so people don't get confused. I'm okay with that too. But I'm excited to see him back, dude. I cannot wait to see this guy. I think he's been on a platform. He was an Impact. He was at NXT a long time ago, before NXT 2.0. And this is going to be his biggest stage, and I'm really excited to see what he can do and how people are going to react to him. I'm excited for it.
All day. Let's do it.
All right. Well, that is the show. No more super chats. I don't see. Oh, I'm sorry. I lied. Luis Enrique de la Peña sent one in earlier. I skipped it. I wrote it down. He said, if Cody Rhodes is not the one is Cody Rhodes going to be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns as the Universal Champion, or who do you think will do it? If not Cody.
It would have been McIntyre
Sure.
Clash of the Castle if it was going to be anybody. Because to me, by all reports, they're still heading towards Rock Roman at WrestleMania. So it's kind of like I firmly believe that does not need the world title involved. Firmly feel that way, and it shouldn't be caught up in that dynamic between the two of them. I even think it enriches it by not having the world title, because if Roman loses the belt before that, then it puts it in doubt that he's the tribal chief. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's not the world champion anymore. Then you add The Rock into the situation, and it's like, yeah, you're not the tribal chief. I am. You know what I mean? And then they fight over that dynamic. It doesn't have to be for the belt. That's why I'm almost like, damn. It's too. I want it to be Kevin Owens at his point.
Yes.
But I think that they do need to win those tag team titles from the Usos first. So it becomes like, It's a bit of a quandary. Who do you think? Let me think for a second.
I think if it's not going to be Cody, which I think it will be, I'm thinking, Seth Rollins would be a choice, but then again, I feel like the person that beats Roman needs some build, and Seth don't need no build. He's Teflon. So, or someone needs some juice. I don't know about build, but like Seth don't need it. And then you've got people that you can put it on, and you could be like, all right, like you could put it on Edge, I guess, if you wanted to, or Orton if you wanted to. I don't think they'd be crazy enough to put it on Strowman. I wouldn't think it's going on Cross. I don't know if you finish off this story with Drew and he eventually does get it from Roman, and that's the thing. I don't know if people would accept that at this point after that loss. You've always got Bobby Lashley floating around there, but I think it's either Cody or it's Seth, and that's it. And that's, I think, the only one or two that people will accept.
Do you think the momentum Sheamus has could propel him to that?
If
he said in the promo, don't forget, I beat Roman, which he has.
That's a good point. I think you definitely put Sheamus against Roman sometime in the next couple months, but I don't think at this point it would do anything. I don't think it's in the plans, right? Because I don't think they of course, Sheamus was going to get a big pop at Clash because it was in, Europe. But I don't think that was in the plans, that he was going to get such a big pop, be a babyface, and all this kind of stuff. So I think you can definitely put him with Roman, but I don't think you can give him the belt. If that makes sense.
Fair enough. No, I'm with you, though. Cody really is the guy.
Draws Walker says AJ maybe. I think AJ is like in that guy you can just kind of plug in there if you want, but I don't think that AJ wants or needs to be the champion. But if no one else has anything else to say, this has been a long one. It's been a long, grueling one. CM Punk said a lot of F-bombs in this episode. Once again, credit to Denise Salcido for those YouTube videos. You can check out her page on YouTube. Chris, where can they find you, man? Where can they find out what you're doing?
At Chris_please. I'm in New York. I'm getting ready to go do 2 shows, taping a special for my man Dion Cole. So I'm going to be exhausted later on on my flight back to LA.
Perfect. There
so
you go.
I'm going to handle that.
You can find me on Twitter at only Aaron Turner. Find the show on TikTok at strong_style_live. Find us there. You can find John Roca on Twitter at The Roca Says. You can find him there and everything that he's doing. Of course, before we get out of here, one more time for Mandy 2 belts. Really appreciate that. Appreciate everybody. Gigi Dolan. It was a big episode for us. We had over 170 people at one point watching, so that's huge for us. Really appreciate it. This super-sized episode. We will see you next week with another, hopefully I do this right, with another brand new episode of Strong Style. See you guys.